Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are back, we are back, we are back. Lennox Smith, where you? Let me make sure that I see you because we have to see Mikey and all when he comes on. Lennox Smith. Nice, Nadira. Just make sure, send a message to Mikey and let them make sure that everything is in order with Gael the Caribbean. That we are back up and running on Gael the Caribbean. But everything are in order, everything are in order. Remember, it's a new year, it's a second day in the new year. And we want to make sure that everything is running and up and running for you. The thousands of you that make sure in the morning that the ground report are your breakfast, your tea, your dinner, and we are your generals in this fight for better Trinidad and Tobago, because you know in 2025 since 2024 what was our slogans, Trinidad and Tobago, each and every one of you this week, remember, we say we want to live better. Remember that? We deserve to live better and we demand to live better, right? So
am I there?
Yeah, so make sure let's not limit put you in the play there. Everything is in order there now. Yes, everything is in order. Oh boy, nice.
Bang, 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 bang.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Really want to know what we are gonna do. Spend a bag of money on school fee. What that thing if the picnic no pass, where we are gonna do? That nice where we are gonna do. We suffering every day, cause life so messed up, me brother. But where we are gonna do? Get a youth where we are gonna do. Bang, 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 bang. We work hard all week, and the money when we make up, we send we back at work. Where we are gonna do? Society where we are gonna do. Well I know, no for we there and some suffer long time. But we never give up, yeah we never stop trying. Now we living in a perilous time. Dog and yam dog and finally dying. I know say that system ya set away. And nobody no cater fi none away. And we bounce and we want and care. But at the prison and the earth them set fi way. We suffering every day, cause life so messed up me bread.
Nice Lennox Smith. But I mean, well, a pleasant good morning to you. Going back to my let's get on to Mikey there and tell him to make the communications and lock us back on to Gael the Caribbean. Oh boy.
Time me priest if you run away.
Boy.
I was speaking to those in studio here with me.
All right.
Well, a pleasant good morning to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago and wherever you are streaming at the worldwide web. A pleasant good day to you. Of course, all the best for the new year. Even though, of course, we are very pessimistic until, of course, the election is called, when, of course, I'm sure that general renewed fervor will certainly be generated as a consequence, because that is what we have been waiting for 9 years. I'm sure that it will be a sigh of relief, but you will forgive my somber mood at this point in time, because I mean that death of Mr. Laqua came as a shock to me, and so I may not be my usual effervescent self this morning, but certainly this is one of the book part 2, Professor. It's called the Professor.
Let me put on your whole screen there just now so they'll get to see it good. This one needed this. Ah, boy.
What might
Wait. I ain't getting there yet.
Yeah. So this is a book called Professor. There's a book one. This is the book two, and there's a book three that he was working on. Um, I'll be communicating with whosoever it is, his family, to find out how far that has reached and if we can do anything to salvage. If it has not yet gone to the printers or his editors, as the case may be. But that is a personal loss for me, because I mean he's a very dynamic man, and I agree with you. He has been a live wire on that side, extremely flushed with knowledge of the area, and anybody of course wanting to contest or to know about that part of Trinidad and Tobago, I think he is the go-to man, and I don't think there's anybody else with that level of knowledge. The book itself, of course, was set in a, as I say, in a country setting, with a little bit of everything in it. Obia, of course, a lot of local dialect in it. When my son reached that part, I will tell him, look, this is Trinidad and Tobago English. This is not the foreign language called English grammar or English that you would normally be exposed to in school. So that part of it we would normally leave out. But he has a very good knowledge of the two books that he has read. And as I said, every night he has to read a chapter on something. And these two books were the books that he recently completed. The book itself, of course, I think is very, very interesting. As I said, a piece of everything in Trinidad, but it is set, of course, as well, not only in a rustic or countryside environment, but the character himself, the professor, a very mysterious person, living, of course, a sort of as a recluse person, living by himself, and all kind of mysterious things would have been happening to him and around him in the bush that he is living in. Very, very interesting. So
Yes,
I would
yes.
advise people to get a copy of Laqua's Professor and have a read, and you'll get an idea as to the thinking of the man and his capacity to, of course, not just retain but to vividly describe things in his, I suspect, in his community, but of course relating to persons outside of it and
Yes.
beyond his personal community in Toko, Kumana to be more specific. I did visit him, I think twice, at his home, his backyard, filled with all kinds of agricultural produce. There's a particular fruit that I knew for the first time. He gave it us, and of course it's used regularly, I think, to make ice cream and all of that. So I learned some things as well, and where the original Toko Road, coming from Toko, going to Toko through Kumana, was supposed to be passing near the river, and of course it was diverted sometime after. I mean, a lot of things I've learned. I spent a very short time, maybe about a month, when I was smaller, going to primary school, so that's tell you how long ago, up there. But I learned more from him than I did when I had my little vacation up in Toko by some distant relatives. And of course, he knew them well, and he knew them well, I should say. And we had a lot of conversation on the phone, etc., teaching with, of course, matters dealing with that part of Trinidad and Tobago, that northeastern peninsula, if you want to call it that, of Trinidad. And
Yes. So, but let me tell them which part he's burying Lennox Smith. Let me just put it up there.
Go ahead.
Oh boy, so he's burying today. Let me put it up on the screen. Oh shucks, I don't go get it back.
Well, I have it here. Today, the 3rd of January. No, January the 3rd. That's what I'm seeing here, so that is tomorrow.
No.
You sure
I
it's
see in, yeah. Is it 3rd? That tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, man. Yeah,
Yeah, tomorrow, man. The
Yeah.
3rd of January. at 2 p.m. All right, it's tomorrow.
Yes.
Because today me and no car.
Allen's
Right.
and funeral home. Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, please
That's
go.
what the brochure is saying. And of course, gone too soon, as I said. 7 Broadway Street, Arima. All right. For more information, you have a number to call. So I will be communicating with the people at the other end of this number that that was given. But once again, of course, Camillus Laqua died. A very, important person to the Point Commander area, and of course in Toko, I suppose in general. You did say some glowing things about him, which of course I can confirm. But he will be buried tomorrow at 2 p.m. And of course his body will lay in turn at the K. Allen and Sons Funeral Home, 7 Broadway Street, Arima. Right? And of course, for more information, you can call, I think that number is what, 3326 6541. It's a bit fuzzy on my side, Andy. So if you can give that number, I will appreciate that. I don't want to give any wrong information at this point in time. But certainly a man with a lot of depth, unassuming, very, very simple, but quite a bit of knowledge, and as I said, a man who is a live wire in that part of the country. So that is where I am. Once again, good morning to all and sundry, and of course, wishing you all the best for 2025. Before the best news could come, which we hoped would have been the case when the so-called SOE was announced. Was
Right, so look, they have the information there. Oh boy, but by the meanwhile, Lennox Smith, hold 1 minute. Trinidad and Tobago, the lines are open. Time check. Yeah, boy, it's exactly 13 minutes in the hour to 8 o'clock. And you're listening to the Ground Report. Yours truly, the Pitbull of Radio, Lennox Smith in studio. Well, again, that's Mr. Laqua, Camillus Laqua, right? And he passed away Christmas Eve. Yes, he did. And he will be burying at the K. Allen's and Sons Funeral Home. And it's have here Broadway, number 7 Broadway Street, Arima. Right? The number to call there will be 326 6561. I think that is what I'm seeing. I'm quite watching the screen on my screen. But let me just go in the phone where I could be able to just blow it up at the bottom of that there. Right, so don't forget. But by the meanwhile, the lines are open. Let me make sure what is the headliners by the meanwhile, Lennox? So has anybody come in?
Quite a lot. It's been a new year. Well, I want to say that there was a home invasion. You wouldn't believe, in Laventille, a home invasion in Laventille, where of course the victim died. So man shot dead in home invasion on January 1st, right? So, of course, on the article, I think we have to read it because it is a hodgepodge of mockery and condemnation, and at the same time making a fool of the state of emergency. That's my interpretation of it. A state of emergency was not enough to stop the murder of 39-year-old Keegan Babo, who was shot dead early on January 1st at his home on Laventille Road. Yes, his death marks the first murder of the year. Police said a group of gunmen burst into his home at 1:30 a.m. and began shooting. Babo ran to the back of the house, but the men chased and shot him. Residents in the area called the police, and PC Ravi Chipter and O'Connor of the San Juan CID responded. The year ended with Well, they're saying now 625 murders. That's the police category or categorization of murder in a particular way. But of course, the real toll really is 644, and it could be more. When depending on which newspaper I suppose you are reading. But this is what this one has said. This is coming from the Newsday with the last murder victim of the year, and I think this is important. Being attorney Randall Hector, who was killed in a drive-by ambush after leaving church at Stanmore Avenue, Port of Spain. I normally would hear the head of the Seventh-day Church. I don't know. I've not heard him as yet, but I'm sure that very vociferous and very outspoken person. I think he will be. Hello. Yes, all right.
Oh
yeah.
boy. All right. So
Andy, Mikey said that his system is on, so probably he's not seeing himself.
He's on.
Yes,
Yeah, again, he's on. But I'm not seeing him. But he's on. But that's how I can get you. Everything is on his side. It's just he had to make himself visible now.
Right,
and don't forget to tell him to call link with Gael now. So make back that call, link with Gael. Oh yes. Boy.
All right, I'll have my assistant do that. But people, of course, be very careful now. Be very careful. This is the last straw, is the last leg for this government. We all must be able to make our votes count. Elections have consequences, and clearly, if I am to reiterate what Dr. Wally would have said, the consequences, of course, is not what we expected from 2015 to now, and therefore we have to make adjustments, make alternative, and the alternative can only be Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC. It is clear, and that, of course, we have to preserve ourselves in the present environment in order to get out there and, of course, make our statement of our disapproval, disapprobation, and the level of what I consider to be disturbance and distraught and evil that has stalked the country over the last 9 years, well, 10 years now. I want to say too that no matter what they tell you, make up your mind and get out there, because Dr. Rowley and they are simply toxic. They have demonstrated as a level of evil never before seen in Trinidad and Tobago, and they continue, of course, to give us nice stories. SOE is supposed to do this, but of course the opposite is the case. They were supposed, of course, to fix the economy, but the opposite is the case. They were supposed, of course, to give us Sanders, but the opposite is the case. They were supposed, of course, to fix the forex issue, but the opposite is the case. And we can identify multiple and manifold opposites that clearly demonstrates that they simply were not ready or do not know what they are doing. And in either case, that is unacceptable for the kind of money that they have spent over the last 10 years. And therefore, there must be unanimity. I say I revised my position, 27 seats. I think the UNC and whatever configuration, if there's any, must get at least the 39 seats in Trinidad. Tobago will take care of itself. Of course, not in favor of the PNM, obviously. But the fact of the matter is that we have reached the stage where Dr. Rory is just talking for talking's sake. He said, of course, still have faith in Trinidad and Tobago in his New Year's message. I think that is hogwash. It is pie in the sky for him. And of course, he believes that somehow Trinidad and Tobago still gives any credit or any credence to his presence in the office of Prime Minister, or to what he and his cabinet colleagues and extended kitchen cabinet would say at this point in time. Instead of calling an election, he opted to call a state of emergency, something that he said he will never do. And of course, he always breaks records. So why is Kamala Prasad-Bissessar would have called one state of emergency, which he condemned, but the result was that there was a seizure of murders. As soon as that occurred, then now we have a state of emergency, and you're still having murders, and of course, people being traumatized in and out of their homes and on the streets. So we know that, and this marks the second state of emergency. One, of course, in COVID, a COVID that they said they were number one in the world, but yet still ended up with a state of emergency. And now, of course, he said that he will not have a state of emergency for the purpose of addressing crime and criminality. And here it is. There is one that is to address that, and the second one, and therefore has created, of course, a record against that which he condemned under Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC. So the man is simply convoluted. He is simply a lunatic, and should be, of course, be jettisoned out of office. The first opportunity is fortunate that the Prime Minister, the person who holds the office of Prime Minister, must call the elections. And one of the first things that should be happening is that constitutional reform, with the mandate that Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC will get, is to, of course, generate a fixed date for elections. No more must, of course, any prime minister have the date of the elections in their back pocket, front pocket, or even where the sun don't shine. So let us not waste time, and let us get on with the business of rehabilitating Trinidad and Tobago after this disastrous stint of the Rowley PNM administration, and clearly, of course, morphing into a criminal enterprise.
Hold 1 minute there, Lennox Smith. Oh, yeah. boy.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I was waiting for your...
Good morning, Andy, Mikey, Lennox, all the listeners. Here's wishing you all a wonderful, blessed, Happy New Year 2025. And this is a crucial year to all. This year, hopefully, we'll have the election, and hopefully our party, UNC, under the leadership of Kamala Persad-Bissessar, we shall regain government and put our lovely country back on a footing to recovery from this evil, wicked PNM government. And let's stay together and move as one under the leadership of Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and hopefully that we're gonna succeed and move on with our lovely country. Okay, all the best to all. Yeah, thanks.
Nice. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, the lines are open. I'm gonna give you all the numbers. Time check, it's about 2 minutes to the hour to 8 o'clock, and you're listening to the Ground Report, viewing the Ground Report right here on Real Media TT, Facebook, YouTube, Corridor Transformation YouTube, Workers' Rights Platform, the Ground Report YouTube. So good morning to each and every one of you. What else you have in the headliners first? Did you find out how many people dead? How much more people?
Making the news will surround that young man that was murdered. Talking about the lawyer. Quite a lot of, should I say, credentials against his name in terms of where he was. He was in the DPP department. He was, of course, in the legal department connected to the parliament. He then, of course, gravitated to, of course, private practice. He was also a special prosecutor. And, of course, there is a story that links that, well, implicitly, I should say, or by way of reference, or interpretation, if you want to call it that, of him having, was in the process of prosecuting a known gang leader, and of course the possibility that there might be a link between his untimely demise in the brutal way that it was.
All right, but hold 1 minute there. Go ahead, caller. Morning, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, morning, Andy. Morning, Andy. Happy New Year.
Pancham, go ahead, Pancham.
Oh God, Andy, we missing you up here. We missing you yesterday. We're looking for you. Happy New Year to you and Lennox. We're looking for you. I know get connection with you, boy. Oh God, Andy, for Valencia and Randy, don't worry. We still want you. Happy New Year, Mr. Situation with you, that is life in Sudan now. Now they look at us, so you have like 500, 624 men dead. You don't want to cover emergency. Them sick, you know what? Them sick. All right, enjoy. Bye.
All right. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. As I tell you all, I will be joining the Valencia crew all here soon. You gotta organize and hit the ground. You don't know. So again, Trinidad and Tobago lines are open, and well, Lennox is reading the headliners. He just gave us a story of all the acolytes of the young person, well, the man who died. You know.
Yeah.
Could you go on to Mikey and just find out, because I want to do that interview with Ian Allen.
I did. He's not yet on.
Oh boy.
He just
not him, you know. Guile.
Yeah.
Guile.
They're hearing.
Right, let him communicate with Guile.
Guile, yes.
Yeah. I did say that he was going to go.
In studio, dealing with that. Of course, the Assembly of Southern Lawyers condemns attorney's murder. We have that as well. You have the Chief Secretary vows to continue fight for autonomy in New Year's message. So in his New Year's message, Fali has said that autonomy is the name of the game for him. Israel Khan, SOE, announced too early criminals tipped off. Well, that was common sense because you didn't have the regulation. It still has to go. It still had to go to the president for.
And everybody of interest fly out.
And yet
everybody of interest. They fly out to the country. So the people that want out of the country, and we here under SOE.
If they have not flown out, they would be in jail. So therefore, you cannot say that they would have been responsible for anything because they the custody of the state in its formal institution. I'm talking about the jail. Of course, there is information as well that talks about intercepted information coming out maybe from the prison or going into the prison, as the case may be. All of that, but at the end of the day, this exercise clearly, if you are rounding up, and of course I've seen them when yesterday or the day before, rounding up some young people and so on George Street and Nelson Street and so on. But at the end of the day, I see it nothing different to Carnival. Around Carnival time, what will happen is that the police will just make the rounds and.
Wait 1 minute there. Go ahead, caller. Good morning to you.
Yeah, all right, that's good. Good morning.
Happy New Year, Andy, Mikey K, and Lennox. All the best for the new year.
All the best to you as well and yours.
Thank you. Now we need intervention help in this country, boy. This country flattening right now. I'm calling on Prince Charles, or you're coming to help this country get it out from where it is right now, because this government has no clue of what's going on. All they're thinking about is the money, how to get the money and how to deal with that money. We need help in this country, my God. We need help, and we need it fast, because look, every day is a murder taking place in this country. The police are them trying, but they're not trying their best. You understand? Because they don't have the equipment. They have nothing to deal with this crime situation in this country. This government needs to go, and this government is just full in their pocket and don't care about the citizens here. Oh God, on here. Someone coming to help rescue us. We need rescue in this country. We can't take it no more. Every day is a murder, bloodshed all around. The criminals getting their way. All you help us, please.
Pesa. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's how it is. Have another call?
Imagine that, eh? I know watching a part two of an incident, part two of an Unreal Media TT. Part two of an incident happened in a bar at Gasperlo, where a man just winning a gun, just so you know, man moving like he's a police boy. Yes, sir. And it's bullet.
When timing is important. So when subsequent to the SOE or before the SOE.
I'm going and find out.
All right.
Wait, sir. Go ahead, caller. Morning to you. Where you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Morning, panel.
Morning.
Andy.
Yes, my brother.
Lux, my TK, trying to be good. Blessed morning.
Morning.
Yeah. Well, you know, this year is election year, right? I just want to say something now. Uncle Lennox here, what is going on now?
Yeah.
We have to formulate a plan B. We have to formulate a plan B, and here what is going on the ground report. I want to let us see for like a proper account number, so that we could donate money to the program. Because here what is going on now, boy. This place where polarized, right? Meaning the ethnicity now, boy, with the voters and certain thing now, boy. And plus we had these immigrants and thing, and you know, the EBC shady and whatnot. Yeah. Here what is going on now. We have to set a formula plan that if we don't get through this election, all the brothers can see if all could form all your own party. All you get real supporters. I telling all you to formula plan B. Because we only go in one direction, and if this thing don't work, you mean that in 15 years we going to take over for it. And I can't take that, you know. I personally can't take that, you know. So we understand the formula plan B that if this thing don't work, you know, because the youths are them right now in this country, them disconnect from politics and reality. They got no business in it. Them studying 6 and 7. Them don't have time what is going on in the political atmosphere what going on in this country. They don't have time for that. So all we had to come together and form that plan B. And here what is the start of this, all in a proper call number on the screen, so that people can start to donate money to this thing, so that when it's time to come, we could finance the own campaign and everything. And we start going to be for the next local election. So we could test the grounds now. That is my contribution this morning.
Where you calling from? Caller?
All I could say that was a researcher.
Okay.
All right, man. Oh boy. Next caller, only the lines are open. The lines are open to you all. Again, God bless New Year that all of we are wrong and we see this New Year. Go ahead, caller. Morning.
Morning, sir. Happy New Year to the crew.
Yes.
My concern is, I'm calling from Central Costa as usual. My concern is, are there anybody in authority who could investigate the customs or the Ministry of Trade to find out who authorized those illegal toy guns to come into the country? Thank you so much, sir.
I don't think it's illegal toy guns. I don't think Lennox Smith did break down that.
It is not illegal.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal. Ah, boy. What they should have used, make it illegal.
As toys.
Yep. Oh.
As toys. So they are not illegal.
Next caller. Morning caller, where you calling from? And what's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Good morning, ground report.
Oh boy, just now. Kunji, you call back right after Mr. Tunapuna de COP. Right after Mr. Tunapuna de, you call back. Both all on the same line, same phone. Go ahead, Mr. Tunapuna.
Gentlemen, first I want to wish the ground report and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, I had to wish them all the best, although we've seen that there is no sign, no indicators that to say that we could see any hope for this new year, until if we get rid of the PNM government. Because nothing that has been done so far could really give the people any assurance that things will change, because the PNM government continues to lie to the population. And once you have a government that is lying to the population, and the people will have absolutely no trust, no confidence in you, neither the protective services, then you're going absolutely nowhere. Because you have done nothing to redound to the benefit of the poor and the underprivileged people in this country. And I'll tell you why I say that. This country, look at, for instance, I'm reading yesterday's Express, the business thing. We still cannot find, since June last year, the president of the National Gas Company, Mark Laqua, has resigned from the position. And we still cannot find a replacement for him. The gas company is the backbone that which this country depending on to get its revenue. And you want to tell me they're pussyfooting and playing a damn fool that they cannot find a replacement for him? Huh? You see Stuart Young and them playing that set of games? And next thing again, I reading on the article on the papers, when they had the press conference for the state of emergency, they never, Stuart Young has never indicated that Rowley's brother or some relative died. They never mentioned that. But then after that, we get to hear that. And therefore, because of that, now they're saying that he couldn't attend the press conference. But I'm seeing on the paper that he had a whole year's night party. Which is more important. Not to address the nation when you want to implement a state of emergency in the country. This could cause the country to crash. Because here why? Business closure, people from your rights and fundamental rights are being infringed upon. There's a lot of things that could take place with that. No foreign investors. Because here it is, I'm reading on the papers as well. The Canadian, the UK, and the American government and all of them is warning people, especially if we're talking about the president of cruise ships and whatnot. They tell them, in other words, don't come off the blasted ship. Stay on the ship. What tourism that could benefit the country? When they tell you, don't come out the ship, don't go in Port of Spain, don't go by the savannah, don't go on the surrounding areas and whatnot. And you see, all started to affect the little vendors, the taxi drivers and everybody. It's a waste of time. These people and them really, they take people for fool. Lennox, I don't know if you read the article on the papers where they want to build a home for the underprivileged, the homeless people in Port of Spain. You read that article, Lennox?
Yeah, and I have been doing some investigation because the contractor, we suspect is the same contractor that was building Balize House as well.
Well, all right. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
When I read it, I start to laugh because they want to put in all the state-of-the-art thing for that building for homeless people. When you have institutions in Trinidad and Tobago, don't have these facilities. Don't have nothing. Who are they trying to fool? Computer room, this, that. And if you hear the kind of thing, my brother, I mean, they're just trying to fool people to win an election when you're coming out with nothing positive to really make the people feel comfortable. You have not heard anything about where is the governor of the central bank? These fellas and all of them just singing for their supper. We don't hear nothing about inflation and nothing at all. What about the foreign exchange and all these things that are taking place? And as I mentioned with the last week, my car has been laid up for 2 months now. I have a PDN Elantra laid up. All because why? I cannot get a tail light to buy from Marseille because Marseille they don't have it in stock and they don't have foreign exchange to import that. I would have to wait a further 2 months until maybe they could bring it in. As a consequence of that, I had to buy a substitute light, which is different than the one I have. So in other words, one damage, I have to buy a pair to replace that. You tell me something, what is really going on in this country? And this government, this Minister of Trade and all these things, and all the various components that comprise the government to ensure that, trade and industry and and all these things is functioning. Nothing is happening, Lennox. People just live in a hope, with a hope. Something which bring about a change into the country, you know. Because as I say, with these cruise ships and them coming in, all them coming in to do is to offload their sewage, you know, and to replenish by taking water and other thing. But other than that, there's no revenue. No tourists coming and going in a hotel and staying or nothing like that, you know. Understand what I'm saying? And then you can't find a replacement for the national gas company, which is responsible, which is the backbone of our economy. And all these games these people playing, but you see how that tell people this, are wrapping up. When coming which bring about a change, it is all the customs in the parliament, the chamber of commerce and all these business sector and all these people associated the PNM, the 1% and all of them. One of our economy. And all these games, these statements and what other things. Everything now that you are saying that got to happen. Hello?
All right. 30 seconds again, Mr. Tunapuna. Go ahead.
So you see now that everything, you see Duma and all these people speaking out now, the chamber and all the business people. Let me tell you something. People, if all you don't want to save this country, all you do not, if all you want to save this country, you don't vote for the PNM. You have a person in Kamla Pasabi Center and the UNC government who here at the doorstep ready to rescue this country. And if we people lose we mind and vote for the PNM, I tell you, crap will smoke we pipe. Thank you very much, brothers.
Nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Tunapuna. Oh boy, let me take the rest of calls, man. The lines are open. Trinidad and Tobago. Let's take the rest of calls.
The Ground Report with Mikey K.
Go ahead, caller. Pleasant good morning to you. Welcome to the Ground Report. And where are you calling from?
Good morning to you, Andy Williams. Calling from Point Up here. Happy New Year to you and your family. Good morning
Same
to you,
COP.
Happy New Year to you and your family. Good morning to you, Mighty K. Happy New Year to you and your family, and congratulations to you, Mighty K. I hear you win our 5 numbers in the lotto. Congratulations. I hope you spend that money wisely. Oh. Yeah. Don't tell nobody that in Andy Williams.
All right.
Hope you spend that money wisely.
What? That was 7 million, the 7 million one?
Okay, let me don't talk the man figure now. Let me just say take out our 5 numbers there.
All right.
Just our 5 numbers. Mighty K spend that money wisely. It's amazing to see what we accept in this country as human beings. I want to tell you, human beings, something. Human being did not design to think how you think, call us reckless and foolish. In the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Ground Report and listeners throughout the world, a CPEP worker, this work for about $2,300 a month. A corporation worker, this work for less than $5,000 a month. A police officer, this work for less than $10,000, some of them work for $10,000 a month. A fireman, this work for about $10,000 a month, sometimes less. Immigration workers, this work for less than $10,000. In this country, Dr. Rowley can't work for $49,000. He wants $90-something thousand a month. How sad that is. Now remember, Dr. Rowley's responsibility is to make sure we get more. He take more. Plus he wants $1 million back pay. Dr. Rowley, you're a millionaire. How it is your life being better rather than the citizens' life being better? You look how it is. A CPEP worker fire and all these taxpayers could work for these 10,000 things and be satisfied, be contented and struggle, and you can't work for $49,000. You had to bully us and take we money. You and your ministers and them. Is that fair to us? That's fair to us. You tell us why you take we money so that you and your family can live a luxury life. You tell we to wait until 2027. Tighten we belt and wait until 2027. That's your responsibility. That is your constitutional responsibility. Eh? That is what would make you Prime Minister for you to eat, live, drink, happy off our taxpayers' money, bully us, take we money, do what you want with it, and make sure we get less as a Prime Minister. You the mothers and fathers outside there, what is your responsibility? To have a big man bullying us, taking we money, eating and drinking and living fancy, and having us with nothing. Mothers and fathers cry this Christmas holidays. Mothers and fathers couldn't eat. They couldn't even give the children something properly for this Christmas holiday. Whilst you keeping cocktail party all over the country. You keeping cocktail party for your friends and family. How much money it costs earlier to keep a cocktail party? Eh? I don't know why always call it cocktail party. What all like them cock so much for? Eh? How much money? Over millions of dollars for a cocktail party. Taxpayer money, that is we money. That is we money, Dr. Rowley. But this state of emergency, what they have, how it is all looking not protect that lawyer. This state of emergency working for the lawyer, for that lawyer that they shoot. That lawyer who doing some high profile cases and things. How it is all looking not protect you. What I want to tell Dr. Rowley and the National Security Ministry, if all can't protect these high profile lawyers and them who have security and things, you think that all can protect the citizens of this country who have no security? Dr. Rowley, 2025 supposed to be a year of opportunity. You take all that away from us. You take our constitutional rights from us. Whilst you and your family have security, you can go wherever all you want. And you classify that as governance. You classify that as governance, Dr. Rowley. And all of you, members of the People's National Movement, who supporting these nonsense. If I had a little say in this country, I send all of them back to all the Caribbean country. And that is what the PNM is supposed to be doing. That is what national security is supposed to be doing. How it is they can't find them gang leaders and them numbers and them in them same constituency. I want to tell Dr. Rowley, Fitzgerald Hines, and Stuart Young, Dr. Rowley, they're in your constituency. They're in Fitzgerald Hines' constituency. They're in Stuart Young constituency. And the new commission, the new National Security Minister, they're in your constituency. They're in all the People's National Movement constituency. And the reason why those fellas and them get so big, Dr. Rowley, remember, those guys and those little boys and them was 13 and 14 years when you was campaigning to make the community better, make their life better. Today there is 25 and 26 years. You, because of your representation, they become like that. They become some of the biggest boss in the country. As little children, there was little children when you wanted to be Prime Minister. And based on the lack of opportunity in the community, you give the mother and father no work, no opportunity. They struggle to survive. And they reach like this now. You cannot stop them. You cannot stop them. The Ministry of National Security cannot stop them. The Police Commissioner cannot stop them. You all cannot stop them. I am telling you cannot stop them. All you afraid to even go in the community. When all going in their own constituency, all you have 10 and 15 security, 15 police car driving behind all you. That is what all you create. That is what you all create. All you classify Kamala as the worst. And she lock up 9,000 people. She lock up 9,000 people. You know, as you come in the office, all of them all kill out. All of them all kill out. So all you rather see them dead than all you rehabilitate them and give them. Look at what you created for us in the area now. Cruise ships coming in the country in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, today in the US, in this country, you know the boat people had to tell the foreigners and them, or they can't come out of the boat. Port of Spain have a state of emergency, or they could die. Them PNM supporters children and them go kill all you. That is what, so they leave European country to come in the Caribbean waters, to explore the Caribbean city, and they cannot come out on the blasted boat, Dr. Rowley. They have to stay in the boat and watch with binoculars. And you classify that as governance. That is not governance. That is hypocrisy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kunji, COP. Oh boy. Point up here. Pleasant good morning to you all. Go ahead, caller. Let's make it short and sweet. Good morning. Welcome to the ground report. And what's your contribution on the ground report this morning? I don't know. Nobody in Tamamad people there yet, you know. For the new year.
Morning.
For the new year. Morning.
You and Lennox. Bless and safe New Year. And I want to let you know, I am a staunch Catholic, Roman Catholic, right? But I find Jason Gordon must come out of politics. Stay out of politics for me, please. He is trying to convince Catholics when he's having his sermons and so on, especially when he had for the New Year, who do not mention any bad thing, who don't talk bad. Jason Gordon, the Archbishop of Trinidad and Tobago, stay out of politics for him, please. Thank you.
All right, a Catholic is saying he don't want his archbishop in no politics talk. So Jason Gordon, stay out of politics. Stay out of politics, please.
I suppose he is reminiscent of Father Harvey, because Father Harvey had performed an exorcism saying that the government of the day under Kamala Prasad Bisesa was supposed to get out of office. But then soon after, he was occupied in Gonzales in the presbytery there. He's now in Grenada. As the bishop there, and he is saying to them, stay out of politics. So I suppose he has learned his lesson.
I feel so. Go ahead, caller.
As yet.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen. Calling with the Barrapo here.
Go ahead, the Barrapo.
Let's see you and your family.
Gentlemen, Happy New Year to you guys also. Gentlemen, let me put this thing straight and as simple as it possibly can. We hear people talk about plan B and things. Let me tell you something. It ain't no plan B, it ain't no plan C, it ain't no plan D, F, G, H, whatever, LBGTQ, no plan like that. Rowley and the government would be removed from office. That is facts. They could do what they want, they're going to be removed from office. The plan that this country and all the citizens have to follow is that to come out on that day, no matter when they call the election, they have to call it and vote them out. Vote for the UNC. That is the plan. But to make this plan work now, you see what Rowley did to this country for the last 9-10 years? It wouldn't take no magic wand. It wouldn't take no miracle to reverse it and bring back this country to some sort of reality where people can live in peace and be happy and comfortable. It will take a lot of work. It will take a lot of challenges. And people cannot be frustrated and deterred by the changes that must be taken. We have to stand together and work together. It will have hard times. But I could guarantee you that once the PNM not in office and Rowley is not part of anything in this country, Trinidad will be a better place. I am in vacation right now in Barbados here. And let me tell you something. You would be surprised to see what is taking place in this little island here without oil and gas. How different the place is, the environment. You could go anywhere in the country, you see development. You would be surprised to know that like it have more white people in Barbados than locals. Cruise ship parking up and hundreds and hundreds. They're making money. The economy is booming. The place is developing. What this man have done to this and you have to understand what Rowley does do it. They just try to paint a negative picture on other places to justify the failure of Trinidad and Tobago. Dotishman Stuart Young talking about, well, the crime affecting all the other region in the Caribbean and Trinidad and other. Let me tell you, that dotishness he talking. That absolute dude. He compared Trinidad and Tobago to Haiti and Jamaica. Let me tell you something. Jamaica is a much better place than Trinidad, although it have the little crime situation there within Augusttown and Spanish Town and all these places. That is no different than Lavantil and Belmont and all kind of thing. But they have that under control. Well, Haiti, you cannot categorize Haiti as a benchmark to measure Trinidad success. Why you don't go to Guyana? Why you don't talk about Grenada? Why you don't talk about Barbados? Why you don't talk about St. Vincent and the Grenadines and compare them country to Trinidad and Tobago? Rowley right now is a laughing stock. He's an embarrassment to CARICOM. And he's an embarrassment as the head of the CARICOM Security Council for the last 6 months that he held that position also. So, that is the plan, is to get rid of them. And remember when Kamala had the SOE and Fitzgerald Hines and Rowley and them was talking about she intention is just to hold black youth and lock them up? The 46 of them they arrest right now under this thing. I wonder what ethnicity these fellas them are. So they won't see racism in it that them who the people they're locking up. They cannot see it because Kamala was a East Indian and the majority of the people who was arrested under her SOE was African people. But now, who are the ones that have been arrested? How racism may come in that? How is not black African youth that they're arresting right now? You see? So people had to look beyond this pseudo-racism of Rowley and his government and put that aside and say, hey, here what? We need a better Trinidad and Tobago. Because let me tell you something. Trinidad is no different than Mexico. We just in a smaller version of it. Once the criminal element become organized and very powerful, you could be who you are, where you are. Once they want to come and get you, they'll get you. And that is where we reach today in this country. How they could just walk off a man now, walk out of a church with his family and kill him in Port of Spain in broad daylight. That is where we are today. That is Mexico style. That is when you see it. It has corruption at the highest level in a country. And the gangs is in parallel. They have reached in parallel with the government. They have infiltrated all the sectors in the country. And now they have become so powerful that they could do what they want. No SOE are going to change that. What's going to change that is to make the place a better place in the sense of making opportunities available to deter the youths from going into that direction. Give them jobs, educate them, fix your infrastructure in your country. For the last 10 years, Rowley them haven't done none of that. If any PNM sycophant could name one thing Rowley and his government have done for the country to improve the economy, I don't talk for the next 5 years and I go vote for the PNM. But I positive that nobody in this country could come and lay out what Rowley and his government has done to improve the economy for Trinidad. That 2027, when they tell you, ban your belt and tighten, Dragon Girl is going to come. Let me tell you something. As soon as you see that blonde hair, pink man in America sitting in that chair, all that talk about Venezuela done. Maduro going to get something that he wouldn't believe waiting for him as soon as that pink hair man, the pink man, get in that chair. So this 2027, where they might be selling to this PNM sycophant that, okay, we wait so long, we could wait a couple of years again, and we could see Dragon Gas helping the country. Let me tell you something, that would never materialize. And people like Stuart Young and them, the lies and the misleading, deceitful ways, they have infiltrated the minds of the weak people that they keep supporting them. Them all one way they sit down and clap for anything you tell them. People have to look beyond that and get rid of this man also. Them is the cancer in our society, and Trinidad and Tobago could never ever prosper. Let me tell you something. Barbados and none of these other countries don't have nothing compared to what Trinidad and Tobago have. You understand? They have nothing comparing. If we only had vision to develop Trinidad to a standard where it would be like a first world standard and really spend the money in the country and develop the Trinidad. Let me tell you something. No other island in the world people prefer to go to than Trinidad. But let me tell you, you see from Eric Williams days, come back on straight now, with every time PNM get in office, they always bring the country backwards. And right now, we're looking like a dump. Just imagine the entrance to a city is a dump. What do you expect? How you could think when you decide that you're going to go and visit the city and walk on the streets and the place smelling piss and vagrants all over the place and all this kind of thing? You really feel tourism gonna attract any kind of tourists or anything like that? Okay, gentlemen, how do you know? Have a good morning, be safe outside it. And Trinidad and Tobago, the plan is to just focus, and we have to put the UNC or anybody else in government beside the PNM. Have a good morning, gentlemen. Be safe outside it. Later.
Thank you very much.
I'll go to the top of the class because for his assessment as to the ethnic group that is being rounded up because Rowley was strident, and he's right, under the SOE pursued by Kamala Prasad Bisesa in 2011, and he was of course all bleed-hearted and saying that of course the African community is being victimized and so on along the East-West corridor and in Labrie and Point Fortin and so on. Of course, not indicating that they are really PNM constituencies at the same time. Whether fortunately, unfortunately, whether of course by serendipity or chance, the fact of the matter is that is the case, and right now that is the case. Only as I said 2 days ago, I saw the rounding up. Similar to the 2011 SOE. So a similar exercise taking place, but Rowley will remain silent on that, and it's nice to know that people are observing and will, of course, at the end. And of course, and even then, when you go to the prison, and you then and now, you see, of course, some 95% of the population, ethnic-wise, of course, are African, and that is a reality. So he's right. Pseudo-racism is, of course, arsenal that Dr. Rowley and they use. That's to say, to use their own people to get where they are, and then do nothing for them except, of course, talk and no action. So I want to tell them go to the top of the class for that observation, and I trust that Laventil and Betham and Silats and all these other communities will recognize what the PNM is all about. It's all about trying to give you some kind of diversion.
1 minute, Lennox Smith.
They put you in all kind of suffering scenarios.
Go ahead,
Andy.
Morning, Andy. Morning, Mighty K. And morning, Lennox Smith. Happy New Year to you all. Which, I mean, the closing of the whole year wasn't happy. Seeing the 1% Stuart Young Spanish Venezuelan calling state of emergency, where we are no Prime Minister, we are no Attorney General. So I don't think we have a happy New Year. I think we have a sad and a rough New Year. I want to say all...
So true, Malcolm X. So true. Go ahead.
All fight for the people who are conscious and not sleeping in this country. For the people who still sleeping with the PNM structure of who we go put and PNM till we dead. I want all you to know, if all you see what taking place. The last problem with the pension, the Attorney General say he was out of the country. He take the blame. Because Donald Cox as a next black one, like Marlene McDonald, where they want to push under the bus. The Rasta from over, they want to push under the bus. And all your black PNM in realizing that who really running this country, where Dr. Rowley was to declare the state of emergency. He's the father of the nation. He's the leader of the party, all your PNM. Like myself in the past, I was a past PNM. And I want to tell all you that if all you do have eyes to see and wake up, who running this country is Stuart Young and Inboot and the people and them who celebrating the state of emergency. Check all who calling in is the same slave master, children and grandchildren. We're proud of that because you know why? The little black boy go get his door kicked down. A little black boy with a toy gun might get killed. A little black woman might get shoot up in a car. And all you just in understanding that let we come out and stop playing games. And instead of calling state of emergency, we supposed to demand a call an election and let this government go. This government is not in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing in working. All you look around, the Christmas season was the worst Christmas in my 60-something years. My parents had it hard under the colonial master, but still we had a little ham, a little turkey that some people did themselves have a chicken bone. Trinidad and Tobago, wait is all you're waiting to see. All you're waiting for December, September is now everybody should be taking the street. The Attorney General is the man who's second to the Prime Minister, and a state of emergency claim 2 of them in there. Stuart Young and a delinquent for George Hines. All you see, what is really going on with all you in this country, boy? What is really going on? No part of the world these things is happening.
I like how you make that clear, Malcolm X, whereby a state of emergency call with 2 actors, not a prime minister, not the head of the National Security Council, not even the real Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Chief Justice out of the country, and under acting Chief Justice too. Nobody there is your official prime minister, official none. Them out of the country.
That is the contempt that the Prime Minister has for the country, and we must call it for what it is and see him for who he is. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Listen to this now. I remember with the coup. No, not with the coup. When Robinson did fire Pandey and John Humphrey and them, and call on everybody to resign. Ellis Clark is the one who somebody advised him. If I'm wrong, I leave room for correction. But somebody, and Lennox, you will know about this, where they advise Robinson immediately he has to appoint Attorney General because the country had no government as how he alone was Prime Minister. You must have Attorney General. And immediately, I think he appoint Anthony Smart as Attorney General or whoever it was, and leaving room for correction. All they try and remember with our Bacchanal, Trinidad and Tobago. And what I can't understand is the thing with the pension, the Attorney General say he wasn't here. And he didn't see this, and he didn't see that. And we are the most educated people in the Caribbean. We are the people who, when the children go to America, they have to top up class because we education so high. Where the education gone? Where the education gone? How everybody just saying that, boy, and taking these kind of things with this government, really dealing with people like fool. And why watching at everybody who talking about the wrong, somebody getting on a radio station and criticizing them. Just imagine, tension on them thing is from the wealth of the country. It are people talking about handout and grant. Stupid people who just looking for food. But who getting all the food? All you watch around and see all New Year's Day, the Chinese and them with government country was working. They hurrying to build it. Check what it is in both and them spending the money on in this country. They building because of cutback and grease hand. They're not going to fix the garbage system because they wouldn't fix all your pension plan. They wouldn't fix all your raise of salary because they have nothing to get from that. All you wake up now, Trinidad. Public servants and daily paid workers, all you wake up and come out. This thing has to stop. You know how much people got dead before election? All you waiting on election and these people with a plan killing we in bulk. Trinidad and Tobago, this is a serious time the country going through. And this time, according to the Bible, of God time, we on borrowed time. Because God actually leave. I hear a pastor saying that yesterday, you know. Right now, God leaving Trinidad and Tobago to go through the penance, you know. And I wouldn't doubt that, you know, because you know why? We have a leader calling we stupid and we like him. We have a leader saying who dead and we like him. The hospital have no kind of upliftment. The police station, look at, that is a disgrace, boy. How they could publish something like that by Bethel Street, which was the most baddest police station in Trinidad and Tobago. Lennox, we from Lavanti. People used to want to go in any station. Is any station people used to want to go in except Bethel Street.
That's
So
right.
wait is really going on. We only opening all the eyes because you know why? They're setting up the little black boy to dead. Right? They find the little black boy who might get a little contract. He shouldn't reach wives. So the fight with this election is to make sure the Indian get back in power because the Syrians know they have more to lose when the Indian in power because the Indians are the people who have the money in the country or they don't get tied up Trinidad and Tobago. It's the if the Indians and them in this country decide to keep a holiday, not them who feel is 1% too, but if them plan to keep a holiday in this country and close it down, the whole country will close down, not the 1%. So the fight now is between the 1%, the Indian, and they had the African in the center who is the majority to come the minority. We go be the minority just now, you know, because 600 and something dead. So we go be in the minority. What again to say? Heavy and TC talking, Lennox talking, Mighty K talking, Andy talking, all you had them down as all your enemy. And the real enemy, all you had them calling press conference and saying that no fireworks is nothing, no party is this, no is that because who selling the fireworks? Who keeping all the big Olias night party? All you listen to me now, man. Andy, I just called in this morning because I ain't seeing no signs and no good New Year, boy. I seeing signs as long as this government in power is disaster for black people. And you see the Lavanti people, all you stay so, boy. All you stay and don't wake up. See St. Joseph Road, Lennox. You ever pass on St. Joseph Road from on the back road down by CJ straight up to Mova Junction and see the state of the back road? We name Bertie Marshall Boulevard. You watch that? Bertie Marshall is
appalling. Around the holidays, is the whole place is strewn with rubbish. You go Picton, you go Sealats, you go. I mean, it's simply rubbish all over the place, particularly during the Christmas into New Year's season. I mean, it's just appalling. Apart from the infrastructure deterioration.
Boy, you want to tell me people ain't seeing that, boy? People really ain't seeing that, and I pass through on the avenue, and you're seeing the avenue clean. You're seeing the corporation keeping the wood
well
clean.
painted. Well backed off.
All you ain't seeing what's going on in this country, boy.
So
all you see Sinclair, every street in Sinclair is hump, and it have a white line to show you a hump coming, and it check good. In certain areas in Bataya, it's a hump where you're hitting over your car, beat it and mashing up. Whether it's called the shield, the stone shield for your engine. Wait this now, boy. What it is, and you see what hurting me, boy. Dr. Rowley coming in front, watching me as a black man, boy, and actually swallowing. He know. Them fellas know what's going on for George Hines, all of them know. No. That is why I want to salute this Rasta man from over. I want to salute him because it's something he deserves about. Why? He ain't going back up for election. Or you don't get tired, boy. Black people wake up, boy. All you wake up. I waiting on the Black Panthers to strike in this country. I waiting on anybody who conscious, Rafik Shah, Lassal, all of them stand up against certain wrong in 1970 with Granger and them, boy. The police and them, every minute you hear police getting locked up for corruption, police doing this, police doing that, because you know why? We monkey see, monkey do. The police and them know what the ministers and them doing, you know, and they can't lock them up. So them trying thing and them getting locked up. Boy, Andy, to you and your family, Mighty K, to you and your family, Lennox, to you and your family, and all the constructive callers, and not only the callers, you know. You see the people when all you call out for protest, who is come out, like Shortman and Mr. Oh God, the partner, oh God, from South, who is come, then the man from 7th Avenue, well, Miss Sandra Cruz, wherever it is, Miss Woodbrook, all you is love for Malcolm X in the sense that who have all your personal thing towards me, Malcolm X go be Malcolm X till God ready for me. I believe in the right thing, and I going down with the right thing. I mean to say I born as a P&M in a P&M house, but dying to say I will condone this wrong that this government encouraging and calling themselves P&M government. All your wait, that Balize house, the small Balize house was good enough. We have to build a big building so far to do is a hospital we put in there for the members. I want to know all your P&M members. Request a drugstore, a hospital, and some doctor office and some eye clinic. That way all you could go like with the Hindu Credit Union with Harina Ryan was doing. All you try and do it for all your people too. And then say, we is P&M till we dead. Boy, all you have a blessed day. May good Lord bless and keep we. But I know the Philistines upon we. Them is the people who cut some here, who keep power. And that is what they're doing to poor black people in this country. They're taking back all we get. All the little resources we save and we get. So young and inward and the people and them planning how to put me back with donkey, cat and cool pot. Boy, I have nothing more to say. Thanks.
Thank you.
For the extra time. And I want all who call in after, all you could criticize, but all you could kiss my Christmas, boy.
All right, thank you very much.
But I want to tell that
Malcolm
caller
X.
again, go to the top of the class for identifying where the battle really is. And of course, that was expressly displayed by Gary Aboud when, of course, he was scathing and of course, has identified his position by asking for all to, of course, come up against, and he is prepared to be friends with anybody.
Hold 1 minute there. Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Andy. Good morning, Ground Report. You know who this is.
Yeah,
this
Donna.
is the Storm.
Yeah, the Storm.
Yes, indeed.
Storm. I've always been vociferous against the oppression that this incumbent government is putting upon my fellow citizens, because I am a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. I saw Dr. Rowley made a statement that we need to count our blessings that we get for living in Trinidad and Tobago. So I decided to dissect the word blessings and, bring it forth here this morning. So we need to count the blessings for the low crime and murder rate. We need to count blessings for the huge amount of job opportunities. We need to count blessings for an excellent healthcare system. We need to count blessings for water in we pipe 24/7. We need to count blessings for the widespread corruption, blessings for the difficult access to Forex, blessings for the safety you feel in and...
You have shown to keep the issues on the front burner, despite all the challenges you all have, despite everything KCR thrown against you all, you have survived 2024. All right, let's move forward. TTPS. The Madam COP said she wants to lower the bar for detection and prosecution. I say that is policing, regressive policing. So she wants it to make it easier to prosecute people on the road. She don't want intelligent personnel in the police office, in the police service, to do the requisite intelligent work to bring a prosecution. I want to put it on public record and to ask her publicly how many prosecution, how many personnel she have charged, and it has been a successful prosecution, because a lot of them who have made their way to the top are, I want to use the word pottongs, and we have to call a spade a spade. Most of the people in the executive of the police service came out of the day of policing. That is static policing. They sit behind a chair and they tell people to go and arrest this one. And if you watch a lot of those policemen, they are rotund. They are fat fellas. They can't do anything. What we need is the Gibbs approach, 21st century policing. Now, she wants to basically make it easy to prosecute. If she wants that, she has to push the government for legislation. So if they wrongfully arrest somebody, they pay it from their own pockets. They have to pay from their own pocket for abusing the authority. Then it makes sense, because we have to do the second division police officer just as how Rowley did OWTA. We have to mash it up and reform it so we could have a progressive police. I'm going to have a nice day, people, and thanks a million for the effort you all did in 2024.
Thank you.
Good to see you and your family.
Nice. Oh boy. And Mr. Aboud, I will call you. You say people are misquoting you, and it's the ground report at the end of the day. We don't fail to challenge nothing. And I see it right up there that people is misquoting what it is you have said. Mr. Gary Aboud, I'll be calling you in a little bit based on the quotes that you're saying, that you're hearing people misquoting right here on the ground report on Guy of the Caribbean. I'll call you in a bit so we will hear what is the quote you talking about. I still have to see if I can get on to Ian Allen. He's jobless. We in the ground report, we not in that kind of a canal.
Before we bring him on, I better put something together to let him know what he said, because I don't know what misquoting how misquoting comes in.
I will say it's misquoting what it is he said, Lennox Smith. So put your thing together and what it is he said. So we'll ask that question when we get him there in a bit.
Yes, sir. So I'm saying maybe for just for the public to know what is to be misquoted there.
All right. Let me firstly just call Mr. Ian Allen just to talk about something. Right, because again, remember, we more on bad roads, we on the economy, the healthcare system, yes. We also on national security with the home invasions and all those things. But the aspect of who, what, who in, who out, we really and truly don't have those type of information. And let's hear what it is he have to say based on that prosecutor, that state prosecutor murder or killing. Boy, let's hear what it is he have to say. We'll try to get him there by the meanwhile.
He was not trying to get Andy as to why he has not spoken out, knowing he has redo. Talk about Pastor Dutton, who said of the 7 days, because the lawyer did in fact give a short sermon testimony at that church on Stanmore Avenue. I'm surprised that he has not yet spoken out about that particular incident, where, of course, one of his flocks, so to speak, met their demise in the way that occurred.
Well, boy.
So where's Pastor Dutton? Have you gone mute?
All right. But Mikey, by the meanwhile, a pleasant good morning to you. What says thou, my brother?
Yes, a pleasant good morning to you, my brother, Andy Pitbull Williams. Good morning to you, Lennox Smith, and our technical director. Happy New Year to you, gentlemen, and may God bless you with peace, happiness, great health, and of course, financial prosperity for 2025 and beyond. And to each and every one of you, to our Gael family, our regional brothers and sisters throughout the CARICOM, good morning. And wherever you may be in the diaspora, as far as UK, North America, a pleasant good day to you and to our sister Isle Tobago. Yeah, I mean, quite...
same to you, my friend, and yours.
So it's a new year. To me, basically, it's a continuance of fighting this battle to ensure that we restore good government and transparency and accountability to the corridor of power here in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not going to be a walk in the park, as you can clearly see that it's going to be a battle based on a lot of propaganda, a lot of misinformation, and of course, also, resurrecting those divisive sort of mentality based on ethnicity. So it's going to be quite a battle as usual, but this one here, let's put it in its right context. It's do or die, because we want to live better. And if the consequences is that we go the wrong way as a people, we will not live better at all. That's the reality. So, the work continues.
As somebody told me today, I consider to be a guru in terms of his philosophical position, is that if you want to discover new oceans, well, of course, you must be prepared to lose sight of the shore. Yes, I think that is crucial. We are going to go into new areas. We must have a paradigm shift, and a paradigm shift here means, of course, knowing where you come from and wanting, of course, to do better. You must do better. You can do better, and therefore, of course, you have this option that you must now pursue as a people.
And you have to let go. I mean, what are you willing to let go in order to get what you rightfully deserve?
Yeah.
That's what you have to look at. What are you willing to let go? You're going to hold on to that negativity, and every minute you're looking for things in the arm of Kamala Prasad Besessa. You have a problem with the party. You ain't like this one. You ain't like that one. You're all hooked up on personality. I find she does this, and I find he does that. I mean, go on, let go of that, man. Let go of your nasty, dirty ways, man.
Right,
And focus on what needs to be focused on. For those who want to stay on the chat and you have nothing to do and you just looking for mischief, all right, we ignore you. You can't be part of this. That's your life. Every morning you get up, you don't say a prayer, you don't brush your teeth, you just come on here and you just type a set of nonsense. Right, that is you. We know that. We cater for you by not even acknowledging you. Forget that. But the right thinking citizens who understand what needs to be done, good morning, welcome aboard, and the battle continues. That is it.
Well said.
Yes. Oh boy. All of the lines are open by the meanwhile. Eh? Oh.
Imagine there's all kind of advisories about this country. Imagine that.
This is what this man do, boy. I don't know if it's a bunch of buffoons that we haven't purported to be government.
I mean, you really don't care.
You're not going to damage commerce, and you're not going to damage the image of the country and all of that.
Let's look at these advisories then before we open up the lines there. Trinidad and Tobago, the risk factor, high levels of violent crime and gang-related activity. Reasons: violent crime, including homicides, assault, kidnappings, and armed robberies, is prevalent throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Gang violence and drug-related crime are common, with incidents of gun-related crossfire occurring even during the day. Popular tourist areas, including Port of Spain, have seen an increase in criminal activity targeting both locals and visitors. On December 30th, 2024, authorities declared a nationwide state of emergency in response to escalating gang violence during this period. Security forces have increased their presence to search and detain individuals without warrant. Tourists may also encounter risks such as fraudulent police officers, spiked food or drinks, which are sometimes used to facilitate theft or assault. Additionally, crimes like express kidnappings and online dating scams have been reported, where victims are targeted for robbery or extension. And it goes on and on. Now, you can imagine if you're blindfolded and somebody reading this out to you without even calling the name of the country. And of course, the first places that would come to your mind is like Haiti and other places that you know, that you say to yourself, my God, I'm glad I don't live there. Well, yes, you do live there now because it's right here. No, we ain't talking about Haiti or any other part of the world. What I just read for you is that perspective that people on the outside are now having of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago. Your place where you know to go around the savannah and get coconut water and snow cone, where you could go for a little run, where you could go to the beach, where you could hang out with friends and whatever. Yeah, that's how you may look at it still, for those of you who have the head in the sand. But the whole thing now, looking from the outside, looking in, is that we are nothing but noble savages. That is what's going on here. Kidnapping, express kidnapping, right? Extortion, spiked drinks. Is that a Hollywood production, you know? A million writers in Hollywood couldn't write this. This is your reality. This is no movie. This is not you looking to stream this on Netflix or nothing. This is what you're waking up to every single day. This, people, is Trinidad and Tobago. That is what it is.
And just in case people don't understand what an advisory means, an advisory is a note that governments the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada. I'm talking slowly, yes, France, Italy, Germany, all these countries tell their citizens, don't come to Trinidad and Tobago. This is what you will meet. And if you decide to go, this is the possibility. Whether you're going there for investment, or you're coming here for entertainment, or you're coming here as a tourist. That's, of course, why the captains of that particular boat told those persons on board not to disembark. An advisory is what a government tells their citizens what to do, what not to do when they are visiting a particular country. That is what these fellas have brought. And in addition to that, this fella, Church Young, playing he bright, how, of course, an SOE of the type is more superior to what Kamala did. And of course, that you must have it across the country. No. Then he has to tell us in 1995, when Oka Sipol's house alone was of course surrounded, and of course an SOE was imposed. What was that? The man is simply a set of buffoons, and Rowley, of course, give way to these kinds of individuals who clearly are just misleading themselves and misleading the country. What occurred in 1995 when Oka Sipol was a state of emergency was placed around her house alone?
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah, we have the lines
Morning,
open. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy? What happy about the New Year?
95.
Yeah,
when Oka Sip.
Yes.
That is what they wanted to believe. That is what they want you to believe. And now that the dust has settled and the regulations have to come out, don't be surprised you start hearing curfew, because they've gotten more information now conveniently. After the elite has gone and party and whoever had to move around, don't be surprised they come and tell you we had a lockdown. Because coming out from this this retreat, you know, we're going to see some political strategy that is going to be downright nasty and dirty. Prepare yourself. They are having a retreat to come out with some political strategies. Number one, to steal the election. That's right, I said it. To steal the election. They want to find out that everybody is in place. That's all they're doing, you know. They're just going down the checklist. You have everybody in place. You know who has to be where. What about this person? You make sure the 10 million goes so and so. Who has to get paid? Make this happen. This person on board. What about this guy? And that is what's going on. You are going to see some nasty things play out coming out of that retreat. It would be no policy leading up to almost 10 years that they could come now to elevate your life. Forget that. Forget that. In almost 10 years, they didn't come up with one. They can't pull one from no magic hat. That is the first thing. No program, nothing for the economy, nothing to deal with crime, healthcare. You go down the list. You know all the areas that have been affected. Forget that. They ain't coming with that. They are going into a retreat to ensure that whatever it is that has to play out to steal the election, that they go in and fine-tune that engine and make sure it's in place. So prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Eh?
You are forewarned, and of course, while that is happening, they're going to do some kind of screening for Tobago East and West. So I know Fali, and they would be prepared as well for that situation as well. And of course, and Rowley again, another record always of a negative nature. He said that no way must any government hold or have or institute a SOE for crime. Well, of course, he has not only instituted one for crime, but he has two as opposed to, of course, Kamala Prasad Bisesa. So he flying more, he have more. Now he has more SOEs than the UNC. He has, of course, decimated the economy. He has very little to show as far as the reserves are concerned. Some 4 billion, having met 10 billion under Kamala Prasad Bisesa that was left for him. The Heritage and Stabilization Fund has been, of course, delved into. And then, of course, you have excess liquidity. Well, he lick up that too by borrowing, of course, almost all the money from the banks that are by the 1%. Yes,
that's right. He has enough. He He has enough frequent flying mileage to make sure many of us could fly for free. Many of us, and don't be surprised. Yeah, don't be surprised he come to say that he had to attend the former U.S. President Jimmy Carter funeral. So I wouldn't be surprised. Who you have there, Andy?
Go ahead, caller. Morning. Morning, caller. Oh boy. All right, let me get back those callers and them there. Oh.
Listen, it's the first of the year. Listen, when you get in, all right, when you get in, please don't listen to the device, to the television or the device. Just make a contribution. Also, any First Citizens Bank account, 23000045. Again, 23000045. We have to launch community microphone. You know, the election would not be the same without community microphone because we have to bring it to you. You, that's right, you the people. Nobody else, but your voice matters the most because your voice makes that key decision. So we had to roll that up. We had to come into the areas. We have candidates that have been announced. We have to get in there. We have to get involved. We have to participate. We need your help. We need your help. Whether you're here, whether you're regionally, whether you're internationally, we know that you care about this blessed Twin Island Republic. It is the land of your birth. It is your CARICOM brother. Get in touch with us. We'll give you the transfer information that will go directly into the account, but it's at 230045. 23,045. Those of you who are in Trinidad and Tobago, as Andy would say, fill out the envelope, put my name, Michael Kerr, or Andy Williams on the envelope. 230045. Just drop it in the box and you can proceed. Do what you have to do for the rest of the day. No sense stand up in that long line. It's not to see you're trying to get in to some Vibes Cartel concert. You just go at the box, put in your thing, and let me continue. Who you have, Andy?
Go ahead, caller. Caller. Oh boy. But what's going on with all them callers?
They're not hearing. The port is not up. The volume is down. I don't think we have shy people going into 2025 now that we are here. I don't think so. People understand by now. Coming up to 10 years, they know exactly what they have to do. So we want to hear from you on the outside. Don't be shy. You have shy people. Check that connection, Andy. Again, any First Citizens Bank account. No, any First Citizens Bank, sorry. The account is 230045. 230045. Go ahead. And any voice notes as well, you can send it to us. Yeah, so that is the advisory. Blessed morning indeed.
Go ahead, caller.
Morning, Andy. How are you?
You know, I must call my economist friend to know what's up. Happy that you. So, what's up for the new year? What you have to share with us this morning?
Happy New Year to all of Trinidad and Tobago. And there's one way we could make this a happy place, and that is to get rid of this government. So I want to start off with that. But I'm looking at those international reports on Trinidad and Tobago and its SOE, Andy, Mikey. And they seem to be very truncated. Mikey, they're starting from the point where Trinidad instituted an SOE because we have gang warfare. We have all this violence taking place. But why aren't people going back to the point of how did it get so? It was not like this in 2015. It was not like this in 2010. What changed? What is the why factor? Why isn't the international media or on the international news agencies going back further than that? We have left our borders open. Somebody needs to speak to that. We have our Coast Guard vessels sitting down there doing absolutely nothing. And since 2022, the Express reported the Tran de Aragua, one of the most notorious gangs in Venezuela, have cells in Trinidad and Tobago since 2022. Why isn't anyone speaking about that? And I do not get the truncated narrative that starts from the point that this government has implemented an SOE to address this. When we do not know our history behind what is taking place, we always end up with the wrong end of the stick and we end up on a wrong path. Mikey, can you give me some feedback on that? Because somebody needs to address this. Tren de Aragua is one of the most notorious gangs that had a prison break. And interestingly, there is a report out there where at some point in time, Maduro was protecting this gang. The government that we have in place in Trinidad, that Rowley Stewart Maduro government that runs Trinidad, Rowley Stewart Maduro Delcy government that runs Trinidad and Tobago, we have to pay attention to that. The second important thing that we are not looking at is the 10th of January. The 10th of January is when Maduro is supposed to be inaugurated. Is there a connection between the SOE that was implemented during a time period that fits that 10th of January where they don't have to go to Parliament? The government can implement an SOE for 15 days before going to Parliament. They implemented this SOE 12 days prior to the inauguration of Maduro. What are they expecting? Is there a relationship? And those are questions we must ask Andy, Mikey. I don't know if Lennox is with you all today, but I just want to pick. Hi, Lennox. Morning.
Interesting indeed. Yeah, because Trump has expressed concern. This government has not, but we are seeing sign of the what I can say the characteristic way that they deal with their enemy in the Latin American environment. That is to say, they dismember their opponents or their victims, and we are seeing that, of course, unfortunately, manifesting itself in Trinidad, and therefore we can make a real nexus. Yes. So you're quite right. That is a concern, but it's unfortunate that the government has not mentioned that, but mentioned, of course, this is about trying to get guns off the streets. This SOE,
getting guns off the street, but. How can you get guns off the street when you have them flowing free into the country? How can you get this? Is this is nothing but legalizing Minister Hines' statement. Come and throw your weapons out and go and hide and don't tell anybody where it come from. You remember when he made those statements? In some video he made those statements. This is just a legal representation of that in my mind. Nothing more, nothing less. A gun amnesty. That's what we have. A gun amnesty when we have a free flow of guns and all sorts of things through the border, open borders. How does that make sense? You have a bucket stopping.
And therefore, SOEs are overkill because you have tarnished the reputation of the country further. You have, of course, you could have used an amnesty instead of an SOE, and then of course you have stymied the business environment as well. I could well imagine a boatload or a tanker load of let's say fuel coming to this country to assist our industry here. 20 million US a month we spend for that.
But hold 1 minute from you all. Hold 1 minute from you all. My economics friend and Lennox Smith, hold 1 minute. Right? Let me answer Mr. Gary Abudna. He's calling. Let me answer him. Let me organize and hear what it is you have to say based on his statement. Right?
Yes.
He's well calling. Thanks so much, my economist friend, for your contribution.
You're most welcome, and I just hope we have raised some questions regarding this SOE.
All right. Yes, we did. Right. Oh, boy.
Well, I will take a break
Mr. Abud,
until he's finished. I'll take a short break until he's off. I'm out of here until he's off. I'll return when he's not on.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Abud.
Yeah, he returned when I'm not on. That is the love. I've been on this program so many times because I stand up against hate. You want to come off the program? So you want me to embrace hate? You want me to embrace people that hate black people, that hate Indian people? But how could you expect me to be a hypocrite? I have done 10,000 things more than half the people on your program to fight the PNM. Are they so stupid they don't know what I've done with my life? How much I've said? How could a statement calling on Kamala to keep the party clean be a statement taken out of context? That statement was made in a closed UNC chat containing 20 members of parliament of the UNC. That was a closed statement. That wasn't a statement that was supposed to go public. Some fool with mischief on their mind made it public and made it a public issue. So what? I must be afraid of them? Listen, brothers, fear is not a principle. Fear is not a principle. I don't embrace fear. I have no shame. Andy, I have no shame for what I've said. Kamala should not embrace...
We also have Lennox Smith in studio. Mikey just left to come back in, but we also have Lennox Smith in studio. Lennox Smith...
I will not make my departure because of your presence. Go ahead.
Mikey has disowned me with the same hate that I am fighting against. I am not Andy's enemy, and I am not any of the program's enemy. I have been on the program. Listen, these people who are hating me and who are spreading these vile and incorrect rumors about me don't know nothing about my life and the principles that I've stood for and the statements that I've made and the actions that I've done and brought legal actions against the PNM, against the UNC too. Wrong is wrong. I'm not kissing nobody's paypacks. So you want me to go on my knees because these people want to destroy my business? I don't give a damn about business. My soul and the soul of the nation and the defense of the innocent. My grandfather was a peddler, a poor man that lived in one room with 8 children without a toilet. I have no shame in saying that. And my family have worked and I still working. So I must be ashamed because somebody who have an unscrupulous reputation, who many people have told me have been dishonest to them. Many people, including my architect, have told me that this man has been dishonest to them. The party must make him a mouthpiece. And the party, if the party want a mouthpiece, come and ask me to be a mouthpiece. I will accept it with honor. But don't bring an evil man to represent the party and to bring down the party. Listen, tell Munsami and Kevin S. and all of them that the battle is not for the meek and the weak. When you declare battle, if somebody come now and start to ill-speak black people or Indian or Chinese or anybody in this country, I am the first person to stand up. Who the hell is these newcomers, these armchair activists that want to sit back and type messages as if it is something to do and something to accomplish? Living in a cloistered life, half of them have fake identities. And they're afraid and living in a corner on their knees. I'm not on my knees. Who want to destroy me? You could meet me in Woodford Square. Bring your whole posse of the freaking UNC. I don't give a damn. The truth is the truth. My salvation is not here on earth. I am preparing to go on a long journey. And if I lie to you, and if I cheat, and if I stand by and let evil prevail, my journey is not going to be the journey that I am planning for. So I will fight evil where it comes up. I will not stand for anybody to discriminate against you or your program or any black, Chinese, Indian, African, Muslim. They are all my brothers. All my brothers. So, Kevin S. and all them, Andy, you had to forgive me for being emotive about it, but I feel so strongly about it that we must protect each other. When I was in university, I went to so many demonstrations, and coming back home, I wrote so many letters about apartheid in South Africa, and I embrace I embrace Mandela and all that he did and the humility that he showed even to the people that hated him. And that is the message that we must bring out. We have to stand together. I am totally with Kamala. I'm not against Kamala. I made a statement on a closed group, a UNC group, and they put me off the group and blocked me like if I'm some outcast.
Lennox, all right, Mr. Aboud, thanks for calling the ground report at the only Dave, because I want Lennox Smith to ask you certain. Just a Lennox Smith. I would like Lennox Smith to ask you various questions. Just now, let me just make my introduction now, please. Yeah. Your statement that I see went wild, everybody see went wild, with you technically saying you will do everything against the UNC to make sure they don't win and this and that, and however, it's out there. If it is you are saying something different now, well, we will understand, but Lennox Smith will ask the question. Lennox Smith will now bring it.
Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you very much, Andy. I hear the platitudes, I hear the pontification, but a very specific question. What would have given you the impression, Mr. Gary, that Philip Alexander, we don't know that, is a spokesperson for the UNC? That is a critical one. You have claimed that he's a spokesperson, and therefore that triggered, of course, partially at least, some of the vile and, of course, what I consider to be vile and, of course, recriminations that you emitted, emotional or not emotional. But what gave you the impression that he is a spokesperson, a major spokesperson for the UNC?
The short answer is pictures and statements of the leader with Mr. Alexander announcing an alliance. Now, I consider myself to be a lifelong member of the Communication Workers Union. I consider myself, because the chief. You said an
alliance. Does alliance mean that makes him automatically a spokesperson for the UNC? Notice my question is very specific. How have you concluded that he, Philip Alexander, is a spokesperson for the UNC? If it's an alliance, alliance means that there are different parties that have come together in the context that we know it. Unless you know something different.
Yes, because of statements made and publications made by Philip himself, because of news reports and photographs of the chief with Philip announcing, and press releases and media releases in television and newspaper, that he is running as an affiliate of the party. So if
give me two instances, just two, where he is saying that he is the spokesperson for the UNC.
No, he never said he's the spokesperson.
But you said it. You said it, Mr. Gary. You said it, that he's a spokesperson for the UNC. Let's not use semantics here. Let's get straight to it. If it is that it was a mistake or inadvertent, well, fine, I could accept that. But you said it.
No mistake. I play football. I'm the captain of a football team of over 50-year-old men.
I understand all of that, but I'm asking a specific question. How did you arrive at Philip Alexander being the spokesperson for the UNC? That's all.
Any person that speaks out in an alliance, it's speaking for an alliance. You cannot have an alliance. NATO is an alliance. If one member of NATO declares war on any other person, NATO is considered a unified entity. You cannot unify with evil and expect not to and not condemn evil. If you have a team and one member of the team is a murderer, then the entire team is responsible. Are you keeping that member on your team?
Okay, I hear your argument, but listen to this. Why didn't you not say that he is the spokesperson then for the UNC, the trade unions, and the other parties that were in fact part and parcel of that?
You didn't call the trade unions nothing, Mr. Abu. They didn't call. All you stated was just the UNC, and the statement was just UNC when it about whole alliance.
To identify the political leader as condoning some racial, what I consider to be unacceptable position that was never issued or contemplated or publicly announced by the UNC. That is where the problem is. So if you're using NATO as the example, then of course I would expect that you would have said that he is speaking for the trade unions and all the other parties that would have been part and parcel of that arrangement. Or is it that you are prepared, of course, to adjust your statement at this point in time, having regard to the concerns that most people would have that we are echoing at this time?
Two things. The statement is a 5-minute and 46-second statement. If a person wants to be mischievous and to take one 12-second clip out of it, then that is mischievous. It's an entire statement.
So did you say then that he was talking for the trade unions as well? Then I have to assume that.
Listen, I have fought for and with trade unions. I am a supporter of the movement. But when the head of
I asked you if you are claiming that he was speaking on behalf of the trade unions. That's the question I've asked.
I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody, but my personal view that evil spreads evil.
All right, but Mr. Abu, what Lennox Smith is trying to ask you there is, again, not where you speaking on. All right, you mentioned that Philip Alexander has spoken on the behalf of the UNC. You also mentioned NATO and all those various things. So what he's asking is, the only person you mentioned was the UNC.
Gary Abu is intelligent enough to.
So why did you not only mention that Philip is talking on behalf of the UNC, on behalf of the trade unions, on behalf of everybody that was aligned?
Philip didn't join the trade union. Philip didn't join the trade unions. Philip joined the UNC. And I have spoken at many a Kasabo where I've been invited to speak on matters of critical national importance in the trade union movement. I consider myself to be a supporter of the trade union movement, one of the people that fought for the OSHA, protection of workers and protection of citizens for 20 years. So my life must just be whittled down.
Are you saying then that
the only alliance? Go ahead, Lennox.
Andy, right? Are you saying then that the trade unions must be separate and apart from the statement that you would have made? You were not referring to the trade unions
because they are part of the alliance.
My statement was very specific. Philip is the mouthpiece of the UNC. That is how the public views it. The public. I'm not talking about
you alone. How is that possible?
Not me alone.
The UNC just to inform you, Mr. Gary Griffith.
You want me to send you the pictures? I can send you pictures.
The UNC has a PRO.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Mingo. Not so?
Yeah.
And therefore, if I am in the public and he speaks, I would know that is a statement coming from the UNC. How could you now, based on your, I would consider now illogic logic, conclude that Philip Alexander spoke on behalf of the UNC? And if I am, of course, to take your convoluted disposition on board, then it is difficult for me not to understand why he wasn't speaking on behalf of the trade unions, etc., having regard to the base, meaning that the union or the coalition, as you refer to, and you use NATO as an example. So I am having extreme difficulty, and anybody out there will. So to arrogate onto the public that is how they perceive it, or rather than you perceive it, I think you're being frankly dishonest.
Well, you're entitled to that view, but let me make it more clear to you.
Of course, I'm entitled to that view. So that's why I'm asking you.
Of course, you're entitled to that view, and it's a convenient view to ostracize and to attack. But let me put it more simply to you. You have a program there, and there are three people who the program. How can I say it? The identity of that program is those three people.
Yeah, the three more pieces. If Lennox Smith talk, if Andy talk, if Mikey talk, it is accepted that yes, we any one of us are talking on behalf of the ground report. But can you say in the example that we are now discussing, where you have concluded that
let me finish. I'm giving you. I'm responding. I'm responding.
How can you make the comparison? How do you compare it?
Every debate has equal time. So you
but go ahead. Give me your time now. We are very, very versed with that.
We have three speakers on the program that speak out on the program. If you welcome a fourth party into the program so that there are now four persons and there's an alliance with a fourth person, and that person is very awkwardly making statements, then that program will be colored by those statements. That's it. That's the basic thing with Philip. So you have a party that represents a large percentage of the population. You pull a person into that alliance who does not represent anybody, lost his deposit in every seat, and has very few people, has ill-spoken. Imagine that you should bring somebody on your program who has ill-spoken Andy and called him a drunk and a drug addict, and you bring in that person. Has the person ever apologized for insulting Andy, calling her a whore and a drunk and the worst things? How could you just bring somebody in without... Listen, I believe in forgiveness, but forgiveness...
I understand your moral and ethical... I understand your moral and ethical pillar.
Forgiveness must be
it is for us to determine that. But taking your example with respect to us and superimposing it on the reality of your own situation that created this interview. Suppose we would say, and we're being hypothetical now because that is where you went. Let's assume that occurred. We brought in a fourth party, the party speak. And when we would have said, no, we distance ourselves from those statements, which in fact is the case with respect to the example that you would have brought it to the public attention. What would you now say? What would be your
nice? But wait. The ground report again. We always break barriers. Lennox Smith. Let me put on Philip Alexander. Let everybody just be respectable. Let me just clear this thing. Because he's calling too, because everybody, the talk is all over. Mr. Aboud is on. Philip is on. You'll get the question. But I like the questions you asked Lennox Smith. If it is Philip Alexander is a spokesperson for the UNC, I don't think he is a spokesperson for the UNC. I believe Philip Alexander.
I have played Philip Alexander's statements, and he does not appear to be that at all. In fact, he said at the well, let's say the conclusion, I believe, or the commencement of the talks with the UNC, that they asked him about the other parties, and he said each one of them are individual parties and leaders, and therefore they will speak for each other. In other words, he cannot speak for them. But yet still, I'm hearing, of course, Mr.
Alexander.
Mr. Alexander is trying to get in.
Mr. Alexander.
Morning, Andy.
All right. We have Mr. Gary Aboud on the phone here too. We are live on Guile the Caribbean. We want to make sure that everybody be respectable, very, very respectable, because you know it have the code of ethics when it come into live broadcasting.
Understood.
Right. Mr. Aboud is here stating that is, Lennox Smith, you go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Aboud is claiming, Philip, that you are a spokesperson for the UNC. I'm very specific here. Is that so? Yes or no?
Lennox, Andy, good morning to both of you. I don't have Mikey on the show.
Yeah, Mikey's on back. Mikey's on the show. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Mikey's on back.
I just doing everything that I had to do before I jump in, because I jump in this guy, but I want to make sure all you observed. Good morning, Mikey. Good morning to all of your listeners, local and abroad. Happy New Year to everybody.
Right, what about Mr. Aboud? We have him on, so would you be saying a good morning?
To Gary Aboud. I am listening to what Gary Aboud is saying offline. I have been listening to the statements that he is making, and he is making mischief. That is what he is trying to do. Gary Aboud is taking it personally that somebody related to him, somebody of his ethnicity, is saying what needs to be said about certain people in this country who have ascribed to themselves elite positions, and he's upset with that. And he is trying to put himself as a wedge between my support for the UNC and the UNC. But I want to let everybody know, I have no position in the UNC. I want to be very clear about this. I am not a spokesperson for the UNC. I am the largest voice in the politics, and I stand in full support of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Lennox, nothing that I told you months ago has changed. I am still a staunch supporter of the United National Congress trying to get Kamla Prasad Bisesa as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what this country desperately needs. We woke up this morning, the first working day of the new year, in a state of emergency to fight crime. The country has fallen apart. The government has lost control, and we need to get a government in office that can control all of this. What Gary Aboud is doing on your show is mischief. He's trolling my posts and saying stuff. There are lawyers looking at all of the things that he is saying. He might find himself having to spend some of his inheritance just now if he continues down the path he's going. Because what he is doing is political mischief. And what he needs to tell you and your listeners this morning, who is he a spokesperson for? Is he a spokesperson for the 1% who tried to take control of Wildflower Park when I went and freed it and emancipated it for the people of Trinidad and Tobago? Because that's when Gary Aboud got vexed with me and stopped talking to me and just disassociated himself from me. Because all of a sudden he thought that I am somebody who would stand up against him and his family, and he thought that that was wrong. So I want him to tell you, now that I have answered that I am not a spokesperson for the UNC, who is he a spokesperson for this morning?
Mr. Aboud, your time is there. You go ahead, my brother. You heard him, Mr. Philip Alexander is saying he's not no spokesperson for the UNC. He's just supporting the UNC. And he would like to know who, if it is, well, you heard him, Mr. Aboud. Go ahead, you have your time, right? If it is, you think you make any mistake, you have the opportunity to clear it up based on some of the statements that come out. Well, they say it was private. It was private, and you don't know how them things reach out there. Go ahead, Mr. Aboud.
Philip, Happy New Year. You forgot to tell them that I invited you to go to church with me on Christmas Eve. I invited you to my family's Christmas dinner. I invited you yesterday to come and break bread with me again. I also invited Wade. I'm close to a lot of good people, and I have no grievance against you. The Wildflower Park issue, I was never against you. I made no public comment. I don't know where you got this thing that I was upset about Wildflower Park. The success that Indians have had in this country make them the largest contributor of the 1%. The Indians are the largest wealth aggregators in the country, and I have no shame in any association with anybody, the Paladins. I have no shame about the success of people who have worked their way up. What I have a problem with is armchair critics who have not worked their way up, who spend all their time just commenting and spreading hate. And as I told you already privately, spreading hate must stop. You have to be able to embrace the success and blessing that each of the persons have brought to this country. And attacking rich people or attacking rich Syrian people like yourself, although I don't know what work you did to acquire your wealth, and I'm very proud of you that you have been able to acquire multi-million-dollar properties, but spreading hate, I am not going to spread hate about the fact that you are a big landowner with hundreds of thousands of dollars of income every month. That is your blessing. I'm not going to throw hate on you, but don't throw hate on me. I am not representing anybody. Plenty people of Indian extract have contacted me and said, I am a member of the UNC and I support what you are saying. Even members
let me know when you're letting me jump in.
Yeah. Well, ask Mr. Abood then. Look, he's telling you all we are telling today and how rich you are.
No. But all seriousness, gentlemen. I mean, come on. I'm listening to some sort of. This is a display of some of the best verbal acrobatics I've heard coming from Mr. Abood. The bottom line here is this has nothing to do with whose wealth or whatever. A question was asked. It has been cleared up by Mr. Alexander, who is on the program. He made it quite clear, crystal clear. He is not the voice of the UNC. He is not the spokesperson for the UNC. Now we go back to Mr. Abood, who is flipping, dipping, and skipping, and not getting to the core issue here. Is it that he believes that a certain group of people, a certain group of people have been painted with a broad brush? A statement was made on a program that has gone global about a community saying that they are the 1%ers, they are the ones who are the puppeteers. How many people from that community came out and distanced themselves from that statement? A good bit did. Right? And nobody thought at that point in time that what was said was one man representing that community. Okay, but Mr. Abood was confident to make his statement, whether in a private capacity or on a chat. He was confident. He was confident to say, listen, this is the genesis of the hate. This is what's breeding the hate and dividing us in this country. And I don't mind working with anybody to get these people to ensure that they do not. He was confident to say that. The issue here is, and we can dance around it for the rest of the day, Mr. Abood has been hit where it matters the most. And he understands what a real social pushback is all about. His bottom line was affected throughout the season. And now he's looking for a life raft to hold on to. A life raft, my friend, that basically is based on straw. It holds nothing. There's no substance. We are waking up here in a state of emergency. And that is where our focus has to be. How did we get here? It didn't happen overnight. It was a complete display of failure after failure. And Mr. Abood, for whatever reason, is not making that the priority.
And I would like to just add one thing, please. Because the day that Gary Abood made his now infamous video where he's saying all these things that I attacking Indian people are 1%, they go, why am I shipping it? I think the video he told them, the video they tell me, I don't know if that's true. But I want to remind Gary Abood something here. What I have been saying is the problem I am having is the disproportional distribution of the country's foreign exchange resources, and it looks like one group is getting it. That morning, I had done a video and I had named a store, a chain of stores that are opening all over the place, and it is literally full of crap. It is plastic crap from China that is in these stores. And I asked the question, where are they getting their foreign exchange from? And Trinidadians are incensed about this. Gary's trying to pander to the East Indian community here and making this about race. But this is not about race. This is about political access. Who has political access to Keith Rowley's government? Because Keith Rowley's government is playing Papa God in the country and determining who gets an economic life raft and who dies. Who dies economically. Because there are plenty of people, he come and make a statement just now of people in the East Indian community calling him to tell him they support him. He is lying. And I can tell you something. There have a lot of good people in this country and every creed and race. I know a gentleman, a Caucasian gentleman, I know him my entire life. His business had to close down because he couldn't get foreign exchange. Then there's the issue of what's going on in the Food and Drug Division. There's the issue of what's going on in the Health Department. There's the situation of what's going on in Customs. It seems to be an uneven playing field, and some people's goods getting whoosh out of the port. Some people going in the bank and you don't see them in the line begging for the 200 US. And the rest of Trinidad and Tobago has gotten to the point where they are bruised and battered. People's businesses are failing. So Gary Aboud needs to tell Trinidad and Tobago this morning, what is he manufacturing and exporting that allows him to get this foreign exchange that he gets to import curtains and towels and blankets? This is not about his business. This is about level the playing field. So Indian, African, Chinese, Syrian, white, black, red, green, blue, everybody get the same share equitably in the country. This is not
Across
about
the board.
He was dishonest to try to make that video. He tried to attack Kamala because he knows that if he could drive a wedge between me and the UNC, they could go back to having this situation where the PNM in power and all those who living on this gravy train could continue. He needs to explain where he gets his foreign exchange from. He wants to have the conversation, don't dance all over the place. And this is not about race. I am my father, my grandfather, my grandmother, the people in Wildflower Park that I was standing against is my grandmother, brother, Charan. I know what it is to stand up for my country. And it is sometimes you have to stand against friends and family for the right thing. And Gary Aboud should learn that. And don't attack me and try to turn this into something that it is not. I resent that.
I agree with you, Mr. Alexander. This has nothing to do with race. And that's my point exactly, right? The core issue here is the fact that we have a government that has failed. Mr. Aboud refuses, but whatever means to make that, a priority. And don't tell me that you made a mistake on social media. You know the power of social media. You advertise on social media because you know how effective it is to your business. It have ads where you jumping out of bed looking like the scientist from Back to the Future and you talking to the people. So don't give me that thing but you went into a private chat and you know the power of social media. That's where you do all your advertising. And you know it sticks there and it sticks there for a long time. That was no mistake. You knew exactly what you wanted to say and you knew exactly how you wanted to express yourself. But then when you realize the pushback, the economic pushback, let me come and apologize. Man,
Alright, but wait, Mr. Aboud, you heard Mr. Philip Alexander. He said it's not about race. You're going to get a talk. You're going to get a talk, Mr. Aboud. You heard Mr. Philip Alexander. No, I'm not attacking your talk. No, listen. Look, Mr. Philip Alexander mentioned two things, Mr. Aboud. He mentioned this, it's not about race, and it's not about peace for the UNC. Alright, go ahead.
If a person wants to call me a liar, then you might as well call me a thief. And if you want to call me a thief, you might as well call me a murderer. So I am not responding to the last person that spoke or the person before, because I cannot speak to people who don't know how to hold their tongue. Philip told me that I'm a cocaine addict in WhatsApp. These kind of comments eliminate discourse, but I still had the humility to invite him to join my family and to come and share.
That is not what I said. I never.
No, allow me to respond. I didn't interrupt you.
2 lines before you made
I
that.
did not.
All right,
I did not.
You didn't interrupt. Let's hear him. Let's hear him. Go ahead.
Interrupt.
Philip, you don't worry. You're not going away. Go ahead, Mr.
Gary. Go ahead.
Yeah, and for the other person who speaks with a forked tongue and an evil tongue, I will not respond to you unless both of you apologize. So don't address me. Don't address me, because I've had it with fools that want to use wicked words to call me a liar, a thief, and a murderer. Look, I'm not even answering. Go and ask PriceSmart how to get to the U.S. And Philip, you explain to the public where you get money to buy apartments. And good luck to you all.
I want to tell you something. I just want to tell you about what I have.
And that has done nothing for the economy. It has not done anything for the dead babies in the NICU. It has done nothing for the 2,000 plus students that, according to Rowley, has fallen through the cracks. It has done absolutely nothing for the people who have been victims of extortion and home invasion, which these are the topics that we live on a daily basis that you, for whatever reason, conveniently don't want to touch. I'm not concerned about who got what.
All right, but remember, you will be listening. So let's say Philip Alexander. He's there.
Hold on, Andy. If you want to get so dirty and nasty about who got what, you tell the public about the people who work in the public service, right, that had to make sure and chirp and save the little money to supplement their income by building a little room and then starting off and building an apartment and growing and building these things. Let's talk about those people compared to the people who was guaranteed that once they use a shell company to purchase a piece of property, a prime piece of property in Port of Spain or any one of the cities that we have here in Trinidad, that they will be guaranteed to get a loan from the bank to build. And not only get a guarantee from the bank, but the government itself will rent out whatever property that they build on that same site. Tell us about that.
You're raising some points there that the show would take 3 weeks but these things need to ventilate. One person rented the state a building for $55 million that the state never touched. And next one get hundreds of millions of dollars over 10 years for a next building that we never needed. You have to have these conversations. The reality of the situation is, but you see, what Gary Aboud is trying to do is he does not have a leg to stand on. So he's trying to make it about race. He feels if he could beat a drum about race, that he could make it an issue. But the Syrian community does not stand with what he is saying, and they know that is nonsense. Now, in every race, ethnicity, religion, organization, you will find people that do it wrong. And those people would be happy to have somebody like Gary Aboud speaking for them so that they could shut me up for talking. Gary wanna ask me where I get what I have in life from? Despite all the victimization, all the political victimization, it is very hard work. And I knowing when I got into politics, I needed to be able to keep myself as transparent as possible. I am ready to have that conversation with him live on air. Let him tell you where he gets his, and I'll tell you where I get mine. That is not a problem at all for me. I have the biggest voice in politics. People know that when you come at Philip, you better have all your ducks in a row because I am going to answer you back. There's nothing you could say to me about me in my past. I mean, oh God, come on, we down here. This guy is too long. He's playing this games too long.
The bottom line is this, Philip, Andy, Lennox. This is not about Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Philip Alexander, or Mikey K. Gary Aboud broke the #1 rule in his community. Money is silent. You do not get involved directly into politics by making any statement. He broke that rule, and nobody else in that community is coming to his defense. Not one of them has said to Philip or even to the ground report, I don't think Gary meant what he said. No, he's a nice guy. We don't know him to be like that. None of them came to his defense. He broke the #1 rule in his community. Your money is made in silence. You are not to go out there and make any public statement. And he's not angry with us. He's angry with himself for breaking that rule.
You just make a point, You just make a point. Gary Aboud pretended that he was the spokesperson for the 1% in Trinidad and Tobago when he made that video. And the people in that community that make up the 1% are not happy at all about that because now he's shining a bright light on their business.
Okay, wow.
What you just said is a fact.
That's right.
Now I want to tell Andy and Lennox because they've been following this closely. That from March the 2nd of this year, Lennox came to my office and said, well done. When we announced that we will support Kamala Persad to be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, from that day, all hell break loose. You didn't see that? People who never talk politics before talking politics now because it's in their best interest separate me from Kamala. And I want to tell all and sundry, I said it on one of your ground report shows, if I have to take off my PEP shirt and put on a UNC shirt to make sure Kamala Persad is the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, consider it done. She is going to be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I've asked her for nothing. I've met with the lady and she's asked me, what are the plans, what we're doing? I said, listen, let's get you into government and you decide where you want the pieces on the board. Let's stop all of this nonsense now. We need a proper government in the country for the children, for the babies that are dying in the hospitals. That's not supposed to be happening. For the people who woke up in our country this morning when the government has so run out of ideas, while they're keeping a man who is so incompetent and incapable as Minister of National Security, you're going to suspend the entire country's human rights and make a point to say you're going to fight crime with that. That is not what government is for. We need a proper government in office. And if Gary Aboud doesn't support that, then Gary Aboud have to tell people what he does support and why.
That's right. That's right. Tell us how you feel about the SOE. How you feel about the fact that poor healthcare? This is not about personalities, and I've said that from day one. He broke the number one rule, and he has himself to blame. Don't try to look to throw anybody else under the bus. Well, it's Philip and this one who talked bad about me. Brother, you spoke. These are words that came out of your mouth. Private chat or not, it was you. You broke the rule.
But gentlemen, I am extremely concerned that he left, of course, on a note suggesting that somebody lied on him.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that when we started, we told him, listen, you said that Philip Alexander is, of course, the spokesperson for, and he went NATO, etc., etc. Now we brought Philip. He didn't know Philip was coming on. We brought on Philip Alexander, right? And then, of course, he changed his tongue and said something totally different, including how laudable Philip is. When in fact, in that video clip, he said that Philip is a failure. Let's not waste time. And then I would have liked to ask him one more question, and the question was who he would be associating with in order to make certain that Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC does not get into government. That was the final question I was going to ask him. But of course, unfortunately, he came out as the typical coward that he says he is not. And that's and that's it.
Every single person to this moment who has stood against Kamala Persad-Bissessar as the next Prime Minister has lost their political credentials. The public moving away from anybody who's saying that. The people of Trinidad and Tobago understand, just like what took place in America. They tried to demonize Trump. They tried to say the worst things about Trump, and he win nearly the biggest victory in the history. What have the PNM and their handlers panicked is Kamala Persad-Bissessar is about to win single-handedly, no coalition. She has a coalition of interests. You see how that's called? How that is framed? That is all of us. The interest we have is a better Trinidad and Tobago for the children, for everybody could get their US and everything. They know that Kamala Persad-Bissessar is about to win the largest majority. She is going to eclipse what the NAR did in 1986. She is going to win a special majority in Trinidad and Tobago.
I concur, my friend.
People are going to give her a mandate to clean up Trinidad and Tobago. She has taken her licks for 10 years and has stood stoically as a symbol of strength and decency in the country. And it is time to replace these misfits with something that works. And to everybody else outside there who telling me join with this pop-up and join with that pop-up and together we will make a third force. That is nonsense. Those numbers do not compute. There is nothing else for Trinidad and Tobago now but to close ranks, stand with Kamala, get this PNM out. We will deal with every other issue that we have to deal with after. But if we take a chance, if we play mad, if we put God out of our thoughts at all and let this bandit clan slip back in, well, the country dead. I telling you, the country dead. And who don't have plane ticket, go and make a friend with a fisherman. Get a ride on a pirogue. Let them drop you somewhere. Grenada, St. Kitts, and just get out because Trinidad, look at where we are. This morning, every other island in the Caribbean prospering. Jamaica, who was the bad boy? Their tourism now skyrocketing, their crime under control. Guyana, that was the economic basket case, the third largest economy in the world. Where is Trinidad and Tobago? Going down the drain. Every single day it worse. 650 murders in a year. Every day it worse. They kill a man who made he was part of the director of public prosecutions. He was part of the SSA, a strong law enforcement. They kill the man coming from church. They sit down and wait for the man coming from church. And Trinidadians ain't wake up yet. People think they're safe. Nobody's safe in this country. The government has made a right mess of it. And we need to fix that. And the only way, the only remedy, the only solution is an election where every strong voice aligns with Kamala Persad-Bissessar leading the UNC and rescue this country.
Thanks so very much, Mr. Philip Alexander, man. You keep up the great work. I just disappointed that Mr. Aboud is somehow, and that is what he did with his video. Somehow we come up with saying about how who calling it we are technically saying he's a thief, he's a liar. He said nobody never said that.
Andy, that is
nobody saying that.
Forget that. That's just a whole
So I call
mechanism
that I
trying
am
to
inviting me in your
deflect
house
from
and
the
you
air.
invite me in your house to dinner, but
Lennox Smith asks the most important question, direct to the point. How is it that Philip Alexander is the voice of the UNC? Who said so? When was that established? How you was that confirmed? And you couldn't talk, and then you start going down a road about East Indian and about
Mikey,
this.
you know how they do it. One
No,
person
he has
say
not said
something
that.
and
That
the
was his
hear it.
formulation. He went and said the public too, the public perceive it to be so. And he went NATO and all of that.
Yeah.
Come on. I would have liked to
I want
know
to say
from
thanks
him
a lot for having me,
who
guys.
he would
I want to thank
associate
a lot for
with
having
to
me.
keep Kamala Prasad and the UNC out of government. I would love to know
who you will support.
Let me jump out and leave all the show to wrap up. I just want to say thank you for having me. I want to say
All right, go ahead.
I want to just tell Gary about something like on air. Listen, I will come by your house and eat dinner, and I will come by your house and spend time with the family, no problem at all. But stop, as Mikey K said just now, stop making politics where there's no politics. If I ask a question about the foreign exchange in the country, you have to be fair enough to say, listen, you come on your video and you say, I got 1% and I'm defending it, no problem at all. Then, all right. Where you're getting your foreign exchange from, because some people can't get foreign exchange to keep the children in school or to get medicine. They want to know. People rightly have an interest in that. They need to know the difference. What is the difference between you and them? How do you get it and they can? And that was the only conversation. But I'll tell Gary, I am still not calling him any names, and I'm not calling anybody any names. People waited that night for me to hit him, People sit down with their popcorn. They say, now, Gary, about in trouble because you attacked the wrong man. But you know what? I did a very sedate. I know right now the position that I hold, head of the Progressive Empowerment Party, but a strong supporter, Kamala Prasad, says I have to take a different tack, and I understand that. I want to tell Gary about fix your business. Come back. We will shake hands publicly. You need to endorse Kamala Prasad, because anything else is madness.
Right, but
Thank
right now
you,
he's
guys.
on. Wait, before I go, right now he's on. He's on the chat. He's saying the PNM and UNC are both correct politicians who get rich in office. Right, but I like the shake hand you're sending out for him. I hope that he's listening. Well, he's listening because he's on, because this is a recent chat. This not too long like that. Right, so call him again to come and all the shake hands. Call him again and go ahead. Call on him again. He's listening.
No, you listen and do it on your show, because your show did the work this morning, so nobody else should benefit. Ground Report should benefit. Tell Gary Aboud I will come on the show again tomorrow if you all want us tomorrow, and I will publicly shake his hands. He will bury the hatchet. He needs to endorse Kamala Prasad. If he cares about people, if he cares about the children, if he cares about the elderly, if he cares about himself, he lives in a country where all his rights evaporated under a fake pandemic. He needs to understand that these people could turn his life into misery if they wanted to tomorrow. If he on the wrong side, as Mikey K said, listen, we all need to make sense with what we're saying now, Trinidad. Open the year in a state of emergency. There is no other conversation to have. The government has failed. We don't have a state of emergency because of a natural disaster. We don't have a state of emergency because of an uprising. We have a state of emergency because the government cannot fight crime. The government cannot secure the borders. The government cannot run customs and excise, to run the ports to make sure drugs and guns are covered in the country. The government has failed. We have a PNM state of emergency. We have a state of emergency because Keith Rowley and his band of incompetence cannot run the country. That is where we are this morning, and the next government has to look at that with regard to the Constitution and maybe address how you could use that ultimate tool of a state of emergency, because this is very close to them using it for politics. And I think that Trinidad and Tobago needs to be paying attention, and I know that the people are awake and they're waiting quite like Mapati to vote. And I know that if Gary Aboud wants a better country for Trinidad and Tobago, he would stand up and apologize and support Kamala Prasad.
Before I go, he write, if you stop the race comments, he also he's writing, ask Price Mat where they're getting the foreign exchange. Ask Picos.
I do. I ask everybody. The difference between Price Mart, if you want me to argue for Price Mart, I argue for Price Mart. The difference between him and Price Mart is Christian Mute and their companies, all companies that do manufacture it through exportation, but also that is a food company. If you want to tell me shut down PriceMart, all the sections that they have in PriceMart are bringing it in and not saying, fine, that's between them and the government. They did that during the COVID. But he is a food company where the people who bring in fluffy toys and teddy bears and cup. I mean, when you walk in the store that I was talking about, they have about 4 or 5 branches in about 3 months. And I asked him, these are container loads of goods. Where are you getting the foreign exchange from? That had to be asked. That had to be asked. If you say that the foreign exchange is scarce, then you have to put level medicine, food, anything that is important before you reach fluffy toys and cups. Not so?
Yeah, all right. He also asks, all of a sudden, you switch your public statements that you supported. Well, Mr. Aboud, I watched it, even if it is Mr. Philip Alexander, switch his public statements that he supported the PNM. So, which he, all right, even if he did support the PNM, but he does support them now for the better.
I never supported the PNM. The PNM asked me during the Section 34 time to sit on a round table with them. I did. We dealt with that issue. Then they asked me to stay on. Keith Rowley offered me to run for Diego Martin Central because they didn't want to give it to Amy Brown. I said, no, thank you. That is how Darrell Smith got to run in Diego Martin Central. And when Darrell Smith became Groperman, that's how they parachute Simon in Obriga. Amy Brown still buzzing around the PNM, but they wouldn't give him a parliamentary seat because they don't want him to have any power in the party. We get a salary, we'll keep you on a leash, but you're not getting it. And I know all of this, but I have never publicly said, nowhere, no matter what Gary squared, the two Garys is trying this nonsense, ascribe things to you in a tongue-in-cheek manner. I am saying to Gary about who is coward, he run out the conversation, but he's still in the conversation. I'm saying to him, I have never supported the PNM, and I want to say that he needs to do better. As a spokesperson for the 1%, he needs to do better.
Before I go, he said, what about looking? And while I'm going to read this last one, Mr. Aboud, while Philip is on, right? And I really would like you to, for on the ground report, for let us all put our differences aside, Mr. Aboud. He's asking if it is you will support Kamla Prasad to make the changes that this country really and truly needs. And I want to believe Philip Alexander will be very honest, because what he's asking is, look at my decades of hard work. Right, so he's saying, look at his decade as hard work, Philip. And I know you're an honest man. The man really work hard. However it go, the only thing you're questioning is really he is access.
Gary and I have no problem. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When I was fighting for Wildflower Park, it had become real bad. Lawyers, they have a current political leader send me a pre-action protocol letter fighting me for fighting for Wildflower Park. And I stood my ground and I fought for people to get back Wildflower Park. And for some reason, Gary Aboud had put out a post then distancing me, and he had referenced it. And Satish Ramsaran, who's our head of media, will have it to send to Gary, because Satish and Gary are very good friends. And Satish couldn't understand the position Gary was taking. But we had to let it slide. The next thing I heard from Gary Aboud was this video he put out calling up my name, saying all those things about me, saying things about Kamla, threatening the UNC with his vote. Listen, I could be angry this morning, I could be spitting venom, but I'm saying to Trinidad and Tobago, I'm not looking for enemies now. I'm looking to get the government out so we can get a proper government in. That is the only issue. Tell Gary Aboud, if that's the position you want to come from, let us meet and shake hands on ground report. I open to that.
Nice. So give him the position again before you go, because I would like him to organize and meet on the ground report, and you and he shake hands. Tell him what you expect of him.
Of Gary?
Yeah, he's listening.
Gary to put country first. Anybody who's putting country first this morning, listen, you have to be a total and complete madman to think the PNM doing a good job. Nobody thinks the PNM doing a good job. Sharon Rowley don't think the PNM doing a good job. Christine Kangaroo writing thing that she know people gonna read it and laugh. The Commissioner of Police had no support. The Minister of National Security is not even trusted by his own cabinet colleague who wouldn't let him speak for himself when Akash Samaru asked him a question. Boss man, in any other position you'd have resigned by now. You have failed. It is because of you we have a state of emergency. It is because of you the fire service couldn't respond to that poor lady's fire. It is because of you. You are the Minister of National Security. You have to resign. Why aren't you resigning? Stuart Young, speak for him. How is that not a country that is in free fall? We have a problem. And anybody who fails to accept that the problem has the problem has a source, it is the PNM. And the remedy is the United National Congress. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, what she does next will save this country. We need to all be on that path. I am fully there. I want to meet Gary Aboud there. I want everybody to be millionaires. Gary tell me I don't like rich people. What stupidness you're talking? I want everybody to, I've been fighting for years. I say, where's our $3 trillion? I want Trinidadians to be walking on moving sidewalks and living in big buildings like Dubai. That's what I want. That's what we're fighting for. So now we vex with people who have money. We want everybody to have money. I want Gary to be farting through silk for the rest of his life, but I want everybody else to be doing it too. And he should want that. He should want that. He in retail. The more money people have, the more money they can spend by him. Yeah?
Okay then. Well, Mr. Aboud, you heard it. Thanks so much, Mr. Philip Alexander. Thanks so much. And I hope he take the thing where you will come and you'll shake hands and he endorse Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And let us see if we can get this country moving forward. Thanks so much, Mr. Philip Alexander. Lennox.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Well, I don't want to add more to inflame this situation. I think we have resolved to some extent this situation. I'm sure that no hard feelings to Gary Aboud, but he has to be upfront. If he says something, then he should honor it, because we have the clips, we have the tapes, so we are not talking by accident and to suggest that somebody was lying on him. I think that in itself is disingenuous. But of course, all is well that ends well. I think he should take up the offering of Philip Alexander. I personally had taken a personal interest in those statements, all of which I consider to be very aggressive, toxic, and vitriolic, and really and truly does not represent the reality of Trinidad and Tobago as far as the UNC and Kamla Prasad Bisesa is concerned, particularly in the area of the accusation of race baiting and some kind of illusionary toxicity, when in fact the reality is what Philip Alexander has eloquently, of course, described as the best fit and the best alternative to this government, and therefore we should do nothing to try to in any way put hurdles to stymie or to prevent the inevitable. I said this morning, and I say it now, having regard, of course, to the present circumstances of the country and SOE that is nonsensical, asinine, and really a knee-jerk by people who clearly have mismanaged and are extremely corrupt, that there is a need to be focused, and indeed, instead of calling SOE, there should be, of course, elections being called, and the government clearly is a lame duck government, and the only solution has to be Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. As I said, I would have liked to hear him where he got.
No, what Gary said, Lennox Smith, he said, "I bear no hate. Listen to the entire message," right? But don't worry about that, Mr. Aboud. I believe if it is that the content in what it is you put out there was miscued, I believe you should do a video. Just do a video and apologizing to Kamla Prasad, because what Lennox Smith, the question Lennox Smith brought to you there was very and truly the real one, which is what made you feel that Philip is a spokesperson, right? So, but Philip is not the spokesperson for the UNC, right? At the end of the day, And Philip came on and he also agreed that he's not no spokesperson for no UNC. He on his own is who think about that. So I believe you should organize, make a video, apologize to Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. And you and Philip organize and all you shake hands and let us organize and see if we could rid, because you're saying the both of them bad, right, Mr. Aboud? But at the end of the day, it will be either or. It will be either or. It will be no new party, Mr. Aboud. This is a fact. We get 10 years at the PNM. We can't take our next 5 years. You know me and you the store good. We cannot take our next 5 years, Mr. Aboud. So genuinely, with all the people that you come out to protest with us, you fight for this, you fight for that, and all the wrong, the people who get locked out at the country during the COVID, the bad injections, there are people, force people to take injections or to lead the work. I know it have a lot of things that you genuinely fight for. And I'm saying that your statement, the public didn't take it in the way that you thinking that they take it, and the public did not take Philip's statement the way he and all said it either. All I'm telling you is, please, that statement, look, everybody take your statement as is. We can't read you no different to how it is it came out, right?
And just to let him know that there's no animosity.
No animosity.
Anywhere. There's no animosity anywhere. I'm going to say that I'm still very, very impressed with the piece that he did with respect to Petrotrin and the 3 years that the government did not, even though they were claiming otherwise, use the treasury resources in order to prop up that particular institution. And there were other things that, of course, the Minister of Finance said that, of course, to hot water, depending on your perspective, or cold water, what Rowley would have said as far as the oil refinery is concerned, because he said ultimately that it was in fact a net earner of foreign exchange, and therefore contributing, of course, to the chaos and the shortage of foreign exchange at this point in time in Trinidad and Tobago. All of that contributed. So I want to tell him there's no animosity. In other words, and of course, I think Philip Alexander's suggestion should be one.
Yeah, he should apologize to the UNC because.
And should be, of course, pursued. Yeah.
Yeah, because
we have our job to do.
Yes. So Trinidad and Tobago, each and every one of you that are listening, including you, Mr. Aboud, thanks so much for looking on to the Ground Report, the #1 program in Trinidad and Tobago. Right, and
wow, 22 minutes past 10 already.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, we have to get out of here.
Yes. So again, Mr. Aboud, let's do the honorable thing, do a video, because when you come across it, come like you come across talking for the PNM when you said you will join anybody and anything in order to make sure that Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC don't get back into power because of their alignment with Philip Alexander. And
yes, I cannot see how people could misinterpret that. I mean, it's just so just to say what do what Andy suggests. That's the only way out, because that is indelibly implanted, and of course part of the public records are of course attributed to him. There's no way you can get away from that.
Can't get away from that in true, Mr. Aboud. They really can't. Yeah. So just do that. Just organize, apologize, and let me move on.
And sympathize,
and let me move on that. Because you was wrong. You say anybody. All right. Look, we on the Ground Report associated ourselves with you. So should that mean that somebody should call and the Ground Report is the worst, the Ground Report this, the Ground Report that, because they have no right to associate themselves with Gary Aboud, or the Ground Report this or the Ground Report that, because of the associate themselves with Philip Alexander, or the Ground Report is it? No. Not because you don't talk to someone means that the other individual don't supposed to too. No. And that is how it come across. You understand what I'm trying to show him there, Lennox Smith?
Yeah, the enemy of my friend or the friend of my enemy is
exactly. All right, so each and every one of you have a blessed day. until tomorrow, please God, don't forget Corridor Transformation tonight.
Yes, we're on tonight. Yeah.
With yours truly, Lennox Smith. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Again, the ground report breaking barriers in Oxford.
I have to stop creating videos now with Gary. Now that we spoke on the ground report, because I think I would have been at the forefront of these videos that I thought required a response, having regard to what he would have said and the influence that he will in the society.
Exactly. Oh boy, oh boy. So Trinidad and Tobago, we are out of here until tomorrow morning, please God. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here. Real Media TT Facebook, Real Media TT YouTube, Corridor Transformation Facebook, Workers' Right Platform, and on the Ground Report YouTube itself too. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.